Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
History in Omaha, Oklahoma City, close to a championship, and a lot of college football to get to, including our 40 and 40 countdown that continues today with another SEC team. He's Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Jim Dunaway, the whole gang here with us behind the glass as we work towards the start of college football, 67 days away. But today's June 17th. Very big day in American sports history, if you will. The great 30 for 30 on June 17th, 1994. This is the anniversary of that great Netflix, you can see it on Netflix, the great 30 for 30. The O.J. car chase, the NBA Finals.
U.S. Open.
Which was at Oakmont, by the way.
Which was at Oakmont. Yep. Arnold Palmer's last walk. World Cup started that day. And the Rangers celebrated a Stanley Cup riding down the Canyons of Champions there in New York City. All that on the same day, June 17th, 1994. It's an amazing documentary.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite 30 for 30.
It was really, really good. I don't think anything will stand out over O.J. Simpson going down the 405, ever.
That's going to be wild. Like, there are few things. The moon landing, I cannot believe you would put these two in the same sentence, but the moon landing, unfortunate events like 9/11 and things like that, where everybody in the United States is almost drawn to the same thing on TV. I don't know that it would happen that way anymore because TV is so fragmented now. But even back in 94, you had much fewer options.
Well, in 69, the fascination with space travel and, that was like a great thing. 9/11 was one of the most horrific things we've ever seen. The crazy thing about OJ is it was almost like people were pulling for him. People were laughing. It was kind of a funny thing. But you've got a fugitive that has cut multiple people's heads off on the run, but people were like cheering for it.
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
It was.
Yeah. Until the car chase, I never thought OJ was really involved in it.
Oh, me neither.
I don't think anybody did because we had this one, dude jumping suitcases at the airport. We had, Naked Gun. We had OJ on the sidelines. I mean, OJ was just a lovable guy, so nobody expected that he could ever do this.
But I remember where I was. I mean, everybody remembers where they were on this situation.
City Stages.
Yeah.
I was at China Luck in Anniston with you.
They had a big screen there that they were playing the because we went from Applebee's to City Stages, and they had the big screen in the little VIP area on the parking garage down outside of Lynn Park, and they had on the Knicks and Rockets, and they switched it to the coverage of that, and everybody was glued to that TV.
Well, they were interrupting the actual NBA coverage for that. Knicks and Rockets were in the NBA Finals. That was a Friday, right?
It was a Friday or Saturday.
It was a Friday because it was
Friday,
Palmer's last. Obviously he missed the cut at that age, but it was his last day. Yeah,
missed the cut. So he had missed the cut that day. The World Cup had started in Chicago. By the way, we're about to host the World Cup again in 300-something days in America. I was in Anniston.
You were? I was too.
I was in Anniston for a softball tournament, and we were watching this in one of those probably a Holiday Inn or something like that. We were in between games, and we were back, drinking the Bud Lights. 10 grown men in a pool with our sliding shorts hanging out after washing them between games, and going back to the room to watch the Knicks and Rockets. The car chase is going on, and that was the first time I really believed that O.J. Simpson, I was like, well, God, he must have done it. He wouldn't be running.
When he's in a car running, apparently with a gun, and Al Callings is calling people, I'm like, well, I guess the dude's guilty. I mean, it's hard to look more guilty than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it took me basically the entire summer to think the guy was guilty.
Yeah, so you didn't even think it right then?
No, I mean, I thought
on the run at that point?
I thought at that point he had covered something up. I found it hard to believe that OJ was capable. And as you grow older, you start to look at things that happen to normal people. And people lose their absolute mind and do unspeakable things. But at that point, I thought that, I don't know, I was very naive. I just didn't think certain people like OJ killed people.
I think in general, through my life, I've given people the benefit of the doubt. Like, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I think I do it more often than not. And you just gave OJ the benefit of the doubt. Like, you would think, did OJ kill him? No, OJ didn't kill him.
Yeah.
You want a strangely...
Like, I remember him standing in the front yard when they would show the video to start with when the news was first breaking. I was like, God, I cannot believe this is happening to O.J. Simpson in that neighborhood. I mean, God, in that neighborhood and O.J. And before I knew what that neighborhood, I mean, I've driven through that neighborhood now. It's not as fantastic as I thought it was. No. It's not Mountain Brook.
No, but I would think the median house price there is probably $3.5–4 million.
It's priced
that's what's so crazy is like that is, outside of Beverly Hills, Brentwood is kind of their Mountain Brook, and you go through there and you're like, damn, this looks better on TV. Just like their ocean. Pacific looks a lot better on TV.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I do not like the Pacific.
They blew it up, man.
Cold and dirty.
Yeah, it really is.
Best sunset. So.
You want it is a good sunset. I'll give them that. As you get to the westernmost part of the United States, well, I'll ask that question some other time. You want a strangely personal tie to the OJ?
Hawaii is the most western part of the United States.
Thank you, Jim. Continental. Do you want a strangely personal tie to OJ? It's not very personal, but there was a guy my freshman year at Jacksonville State. There was a guy on the golf team named Michael Swigert, homie, is what we called him, and he was from that little stick of West Virginia that's right outside of Pittsburgh. You know what I'm talking about? Right across the Pennsylvania line.
Yeah, he's part of the backyard brawl.
Yeah, basically you leave that stick of West Virginia, go through a tunnel, and you're in Pittsburgh. So he basically grew up in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. And he was a senior, and I was an incoming freshman, but I had already played some with the golf team, so I'd gotten to know him. So we're at the golf team apartment shortly after the OJ chase, and he calls. And he had gone back to Pittsburgh because the U.S. Open was at Oakmont, and he had tickets, but he was also going to caddy at a local golf course to make some money on the side because so many celebrities were coming in. And he called. He goes, "You guys aren't going to believe this." He said, "I was scheduled to caddy for a foursome this morning at Montour Heights." I'll never forget the name of the golf course, Montour Heights in Pittsburgh. And he goes, "Everybody's players showed up except mine. He was detained and couldn't make it. It was O.J. Simpson."
Oh, wow.
He was scheduled to caddy for O.J. Simpson that day, and he had gotten excited. Like, he had seen the caddy assignments the night before, and he's like, "Oh, God, I got O.J. Simpson. That's pretty cool." And then all of that unfolded, and O.J. was on the chase, so he never showed up for his Friday tee time.
There's a good chance if you're younger, well, there's not a good chance. It's absolutely true that if you're 37, 38 years old and younger, you don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you were born in the 80s, it gets really, really dicey.
Or if you were born at a certain time, this is all of O.J. Simpson you've ever known.
Yeah.
Like, you're baffled by the fact that we talk about him in glowing terms at some point and then in the other terms at another point.
Yeah, but were you guys not naive to human nature?
Yeah.
Just altogether? Like, you would hear about infidelity and you'd be like, oh, people don't cheat on their wives. And you would hear about family members not talking to each other. There's no way family members would never not talk to each other.
Yeah, you viewed the world through a different prism at that age.
You get somewhat jaded, and you start to see that any and everything has happened and any and everything can happen.
Yeah. But I can't imagine, I don't want to imagine, an event that could unite everyone around the TV. I mean, the Super Bowl is the closest thing we get every year. And that's 100 some odd million Americans, which, that's roughly a third of our population, third to a quarter of our population, which is pretty remarkable in and of itself. But I mean, everybody was watching. Like I told you, I was at China Luck, Chinese restaurant, Anniston, Oxford area. Walked in the restaurant, they've got one TV and it's on the coverage, and nobody's working, nobody's eating. They're all just standing around watching the chase because it had gone full-time coverage at that point.
I'll tell you, that people, and I don't know how much you guys remember this, but I remember up until the verdict, and still it was divisive, obviously, at the verdict.
Should point out, a lot of people forget he was found not guilty.
That is true. Yeah. Found guilty, found liable in a civil suit, but not guilty in a criminal suit.
Well, in today's judicial system, not surprising that he was found not guilty. But that Tuesday is when a decision went out, and I'll never forget, I think it was Monday night. I think it was the Raiders and Broncos, but, we were booking. It was my fourth year of booking. Had the discussion. I was like, I think we should run OJ guilty or not guilty because this will be a different leg of the parlay. And I just had a feeling that he was.
Everybody was going to bet guilty. Guilty would have been a bet in
that
favor.
was it.
Oh, 100%.
And we got to the point where, we're going to lose a lot of money on this because everybody's going to take guilty. He's going to end up being guilty.
Right.
Oh,
and it ended up being a massive mistake because
you'd have cleaned up. Were you going to have to put odds, or was it going to be 50-50?
No, we were just going to do.
It was going to be a pick 'em?
Yeah. Yep. And we would have killed it.
Oh, you would have.
Give me the Raiders and guilty.
And OJ guilty.
Yeah.
No, you would have.
Yeah.
You would have. Because there's nobody after watching the trial and all the coverage leading up to it. Is that when Melton may know this? Chime in, Melton, because you know TV. That's how court TV started?
I was about to ask that same question.
Yeah. That's how court TV, the coverage of that started court TV.
I don't think so. I think it was before.
Do you know Melton?
I don't know for sure, no.
I believe that's what launched Court TV. Which
Well,
I don't
maybe
know.
Court TV, but wasn't
Nope.
there like a spinoff from CNN or something where there were different high profile cases before, and then maybe that did spin off and.
Court TV launched in 1991, according to Wikipedia. I'm with you. I kind of remember it as that, but no.
God, the O.J. Simpson something started. Maybe it's what brought Court TV into prominence or something.
It came into its own during the Menendez brothers' first trial in 1993, it says here.
Okay.
And
I would have said Menendez brothers was after O.J.
And then
before.
the O.J. Simpson murder trial in 95 really put it on the map, it says.
Boy, I tell you, man, there's so much going on. That Mortician that I'm watching, all this stuff in L.A. in the 80s and 90s, it's just, par for the course, just another day out there. But just sensational stuff when you got kids killing their parents and, football stars, killing girlfriends and boyfriends and freaking, just insane stuff, and morticians taking bodies. And
It had to have been easier to get away with murder back then than it is now.
When?
Oh.
Yeah,
When?
in
So much
in the 80s
easier.
and 90s.
Oh,
and,
today.
it's impossible now.
Today, whoever killed the two would be all over video.
Yeah,
if it was
can get
OJ.
away with it, but it's got to be a random murder.
Yeah.
If you kill somebody more than likely, you're going to get caught.
If it was OJ, it would have been an open and closed case because you would have had video of him parking somewhere. You would have had Ring doorbell videos from all over that neighborhood of
Search
him.
histories.
You'd have had search histories. You would have had. It probably doesn't even go to trial. He probably just pleads guilty. But that day and age just didn't have any of that. There was no video evidence that I'm aware of.
Back to the mortician, he's got like this handbook. I forgot what it's called, but a lot of people went to it like in the 70s and 80s, how to dispose bodies. And so there was no paper trail. Like you could go to Little Professor and buy a book on, I doubt they carry it, but in LA, I'm sure all the Little Professors carried it. But that was kind of the manual back then. So there was no paper trails.
Yeah. They could do like they do in Deadwood back in the old days, just feed them to the pigs.
Nothing's left, right?
Nothing's left.
Yeah.
My dad stopped a serial killer that was his motive was to use a screwdriver. But everyone thought it was a bullet entering, and they could never find the bullet. But he was able to find the screwdriver, and that's how they were able to sort of track him down.
It should be noted, Melton's father was a very well-respected homicide detective in Birmingham, city of Birmingham.
That is correct. Yeah.
City of Birmingham Police.
And our oldest brother, Shane, has never met Tim, but my oldest brother, Shane, was a Birmingham cop for 10 years, and he speaks highly of Tim's father.
Very well-respected, his dad is. Yeah. Didn't he solve some long cold case?
Oh yeah. No, he was really, really good at what he did, and he actually had to go out to L.A. to testify in a couple of cases of serial killers who had made their way over there. So
wow.
Yeah. It was a different time back then.
I wish I'd met your dad.
So he was an expert
fascinating.
witness in those cases?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about following his footsteps? I mean, a lot of kids do.
Yeah, I did.
Do you enjoy watching that genre of shows and in movies, or do you find them to be so out of whack from knowing the real side of them?
No, I like them. They're very interesting, but I figured, if there's one person I want to watch killing it every day, it's Jim Dunaway live in person. That's what I decided to do.
I'm only here 9 to 12.
I don't know if you're trying to deflect and you don't want to talk about this.
No, there's no trauma.
Did your dad, did he struggle? Like a lot of cops struggle, and especially when you see that kind of stuff every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Later in life, for sure. Yeah. He would have visions of policemen that he had worked with, or he also served in Vietnam, so he got the daily double there. So
hard to compartmentalize that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. He should have been taken out many different ways. So I'm fortunate to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're fortunate to have you, especially today with Forrester on assignment.
You're right. Exactly.
Show being brought to a great way to start the show off talking murder and homicide and such like that. If you want to settle down and enjoy that 30 for 30, you can get them on Netflix, ESPN Plus. This day in history, June 17th, 1994. Cuddle up with a nice little bourbon, a little whiskey tonight with our friends at Company Distilling and enjoy that. We'll talk about the other headlines in sports in just a second. Tell us about the company now at ABC stores in Alabama.
Yeah, look, if you're a bourbon fan, or if you know somebody that's a bourbon fan, maybe you're just getting your collection started, this would be a great addition. Company Distilling is now available in ABC stores across the state. If you've been waiting to try a whiskey as good as the company you keep, this is your moment. Find your bottle. Learn more at companydistilling.com/Alabama. You can now find it not only Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, killing the SEC footprint. Whether you're picking up a bottle for the weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling is worth a pour. If you can't find it on the shelf, just ask your local store to order it in. Spirits this good deserve to be shared. Must be 21 or older to purchase. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hey, and if you want to go see America, you can do it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They got something priced for everybody's price range. They're at Johnston RV with approved credit as low as $129 a month. They got the toy haulers, all the tow behinds, fifth wheels, the motor homes, the big coaches. I mean, they got it all right there at Johnston RV. And let me tell you what, they're going to beat your price. You bring them a lower price, they'll beat it. RV warranty forever. Make sure you got lifetime coverage on anything new and qualifying pre-owned. You can see more at johnstonrvcenter.com.
And that number up there, call or text too. That number was 256-957-1081. And you get to details, talk to those fine folks up there, and find something to make you enjoy your summer, your life, ease into a nice time, family time this summer. Be a lot of fun. Summer starts Friday, by the way. Official first day of summer is Friday.
Is that the longest day of the year?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
We call that the summer solstice.
Very good.
Yeah. Look at that.
That
earned me a pie.
What is the shortest day of the year, Jim?
That's going to be the winter solstice.
That'll be...
Is that incorrect?
That is incorrect. Yeah. It's the equinox.
The equinox.
So what are we looking at? 15-hour day?
Probably sunrise around 5:30, sunset around 8:30. Yeah. So that's a nice day right
Best
there,
day
my
of the year
friend.
right
Let's play
there.
some golf, boys.
Great day yesterday at the College World Series. They're going to finish up yesterday this morning after the rain out for LSU UCLA. They go at 10 a.m. But it was a no-hitter for Arkansas's Gage Wood. 19 strikeouts, a 3-0 win over Murray State. Had a perfect game into the 8th. Before you hear Gage here, a couple of points. Had not been a no-hitter, only the third one in College World Series history. Had not been one since 1960, partly because they put aluminum bats in college baseball in 1974. So this is the first no-hitter at the College World Series, best teams in the game, since we had aluminum bats. Here's Gage Wood after that historic performance. He gets asked how it felt, or if he actually felt anything special when he was warming up in the bullpen.
19 strikeouts, third no-hitter, amazing. Anything special going into today's warm-up and you just knew maybe it was working? I mean, it seemed like the slider was working. You were spotting it right where you wanted to.
I don't throw a slider. It was a curveball. Throw a cutter. I only did that like 5 times. But no, the only special thing was I didn't want to go home. That's it.
You know, I thought about Brown because he always he shats on the no-hitter a lot.
It's a little different.
You have to
Nope.
I mean, Dunaway said it. The first one says
1960.
1950.
That's what, was it 50? 60? 60, okay. Yeah. That's what makes this one different. Like, the reason the no-hitter doesn't resonate with me and Major League Baseball is they happen so often, right? It's not as if we never get to see these. And I've just always said it's impressive, but we treat it like man landing on the moon, and we literally will see it 4, 5, 6 times a year. You don't see this one. This would be the equivalent of a World Series or maybe ALCS or NLCS no-hitter. When's the last time we've seen one of those? Does it go all the way back to...
it's not Don Larson.
Oh, I think it is.
Well, that was a perfect game. Yeah, I think we've had a no-hitter.
I'll find out.
Okay,
I thought Roy Halladay threw one. I thought Kurt Schilling threw one. This is the postseason.
Postseason. Just give me a World Series.
Okay, as he's pulling that, Dunaway brought up the aluminum bats, and that obviously is the reason. But you know how you throw one against aluminum bats, swings and misses. And when you can record 19 strikeouts, keep the ball out of play.
Yep. Now, I'm not trying to diminish it, but
There we go.
No. It happened in the College World Series, so in theory, we've got the 8 best teams in America there, though that's not really how the system works. Is it diminished at all by the fact that it was Murray State in your eyes?
No.
Not one bit?
Nope.
So you wouldn't be more impressed if he had done it against LSU?
I tell you this, I would have been maybe, but I think when it's all said and done in 5, 10, 15 years, nobody's really going to look at the opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be
2022 Houston, by the way.
So it was Roy. No, that was
Game 4. It was the entire staff, but
the
starting pitcher went deep, and then the bullpen took over. And
I don't know the other.
I really diminished those, by the way.
The other landmark games or bars, but to me, that's got to go down as far as when we were living the best college baseball pitching performance of all time.
What, this one last night?
Yeah. I mean, 19 strikeouts, first off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
And then aluminum bat, factored in, and no offense to the 1960s, but I mean, with an aluminum bat, even I could get hits back when I played. I mean, occasionally you just put barrel on the bat, and it can find a space out there for a base hit. And you don't even have to be the greatest hitter in the world or greatest, strongest guy in the world. You can get a little aluminum on it.
That's what's amazing, the swings and misses.
Yeah, the swings and misses. His non-slider, as he was very, did not want to be labeled throwing a slider.
Is that like some Marcus? Is that a scarlet letter?
I mean, he could have been a more likable guy in all of his interviews. His post-game interview, by the way, she was like, what's going through your head right now? I shouldn't have hit that guy. Well, okay, guy. Thank you.
Yeah.
He got better. He got better in his interview as it went on.
So you mean a guy named Gage Wood has got a little bit of confidence to him?
No, he was great.
He
ended up being really good after that. But it was a dominant performance, and hats off. They let him go the full 9 because it was a tight ball game, relatively speaking.
You know what the longest he had gone in his career was earlier in one of the regionals. He went 6 innings against Creighton.
Yeah, I know. That's
what's crazy.
He's out of his comfort zone. This event always delivers at least one storyline. It continues today. LSU, UCLA, they're in the winner's bracket, but the loser of that game has to turn around and play again tonight against red-hot Arkansas. So we'll see. I mean, red-hot pitching Arkansas. Their bats still trying to find their way out there. So you get the 10 a.m. game, LSU, UCLA, then elimination game at 1, Oregon State, Louisville, and then Arkansas TBD tonight against the loser of this morning game. Great double elimination baseball happening on the ESPN family of networks. We get to the NBA, what we saw last night, after friend LT tells us about Dr. B.
Dr. B did the non-invasive treatment on the couch last night, watching the NBA Finals. I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Call Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff. Schedule a consultation. If you start thinning out, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s, be preemptive, maintain, grow some of it back. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net. T3's got that new test. It's so easy, painless, affordable, takes only 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and time on things that aren't working while you're losing hair. Make sure you go see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
All right, so last night, if I had asked you going into the game, closer to 40 points, Jalen Williams or Tyrese Halliburton? Halliburton ended up with no field goals last night, 4 points, no show, missing in the contest. And still the Pacers cut it from 18 points down to just 2. If Halliburton would have just kicked it in then, they would have had a chance to win this game. OKC wins it. They cover. They're up 3-2 in the series. But before you talk about all the goodness with OKC, you got to start with where was Halliburton last night?
Well, look, he falls early, re-aggravates that leg. I don't think that was the entirety of it. Halliburton's one of these guys that, 60% of his peers said he was the most overrated player in the NBA. So there's a reason those guys said that. He is a budding superstar at 25 years old, but he's still going to have these off games. That's why he's not SGA. That's why he's not an MVP right now. But give Pascal Siakam, give TJ McConnell, give those guys a lot of credit for keeping Indiana in and doing what Rick Carlisle always does. I mean, they were getting smoked. They come back. They cut it to 2.
In the fourth quarter, it was cut to 2.
Yeah. After that Siakam 3.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, thank God, ultimately gets the cover there and wins 120-109. But now we're talking about an Indiana team that is 10-0 in following their last 10 losses back to March. So if you believe Indiana's not going to lose back-to-back games, we're going to get 7 games here.
Do you remember roughly what the time on the clock was when Siakam hit that 3?
Yeah, I think it was like 6.5.
It was
7.
about 6.5 or 7. Yep, you're right. I think. I mean, that's the way I remember it. I was kind of foggy, fighting off sleep. But because Dunaway, you mentioned it, that Halliburton had not scored or not hit field goal for a very long time in the game. I thought they've cut this to 2, and Halliburton is about to wake up, and he's going to have like a 15.8 minutes here, and they're going to win this daggum game. I mean, to be that close with him not even basically contributing from the field was remarkable in its own right.
Jalen Williams is 40 points. He joins the group of Magic Johnson, who did it when he was 20, scoring 40-plus points in an NBA Finals. Magic was the youngest to do it. He was 20 in 1980 when he scored 40. Rick Barry did it 3 times at the age of 23 in 1967. Russell Westbrook was 23 when he did it in 2012. And Jerry West did it when he was 23 in 1962. Jalen Williams is now the person that joins that list of 40-plus games. Those other 4 are the only people younger than him to get it done. That's an amazing group of athletes to be part of. They'll do this important Game 6 coming up Thursday night, and if Indiana is able to win it, we'll get Game 7 coming up on Sunday. We've got Game 6 of the Stanley Cup tonight. Florida tries to finish that off at 7 o'clock on TNT if you'd like to watch that. We'll talk baseball later on to college football when we come back in the next segment. That includes our 40 and 40 countdown team at number 16 with our second SEC team of the week in 2 days. Yesterday it was South Carolina. We'll hear from Shane Beamer later on. A little recruiting news and an amazing story about his quarterback back to South Carolina later in the show. That's being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. Don't forget, at Bojangles, Brownie had a great experience over the weekend.
Oh, boy, did I. Great breakfast there. But they got lunch coming up next. And you can enjoy those great tenders. And nothing people love more than great dipping sauce, right? From sweet to heat. 7 sauces that will add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. If you want to add some tang, try barbecue. If you want some heat, creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic Bo sauce, ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We'll do our 40 and 40 team and then talk some wild stories in the SEC here in just a second. Before we do that, the show being brought to you by our friends right there at New Life Art. Some wild, great moments in college football history. Whether your history in college football is 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, Daniel A. Moore has it. It includes some basketball moments, including the latest buzzer beater from Mark Sears there. You can get that and a lot more at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Promo code TNR to get the best deals available. Go to the website and see all the great works there, including the legend Nick Saban, 6 national championship trophies from Coach, plus all the other great works. It's all right there at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Promo code TNR. We are 67 days away from the start of the college football season. This is 16 shows away from SEC Media Days. We'll have some coverage from Atlanta coming up at SEC Media Days in just a couple of weeks now. And it's not far away. We're so close to that. And we're doing our countdown every day, one team, every show. It's brought to you by Champions Boxing, and it's another SEC team today. More on that in a second after you tell us about Champions.
Champions Boxing, great place to get that unique workout. Maybe you got a kid at home this summer. They're trying to figure out what to do. This might be perfect for them. Champions Boxing, conveniently located right there in Pelham behind the Purple Onion. For more information, at Champions Boxing AL on Instagram, on Facebook, it's at Champions Boxing AL as well. Anyone looking for a workout different from throwing up a barbell, come check them out. Boxing for fitness and competition, all ages starting at just 9 years old. 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing, but strength and conditioning as well, and the official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held right here in Birmingham next month. Stop in, see Akash, Jake, all the great guys. Tell them the Next Round sent you.
All right, unveiling our team today. We go across the state line to the Ole Miss Rebels. South Carolina yesterday at 17. Ole Miss slides in at 16. This would be a big step back for Lane Kiffin and where Ole Miss has been the last couple of years, at least going into the season. They're making a quarterback change, and they believe in Austin Simmons at quarterback. They did not go to the portal to find one, Lance.
Yeah, look, Austin Simmons, the lefty out of Florida, we saw him limited time when Jackson Dart goes to the 10 against Georgia. He looked really good.
It was a good drive, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I just believe that Lane Kiffin knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. A redshirt sophomore. Lane Kiffin has now won double-digit games in 3 of the last 4 years. When you look at Jackson Dart, if you don't think Jackson Dart there were people coming out of the draft saying this kid was overrated. Program's all-time leader in passing yards and total offense. 3-year starting quarterback. I mean, a lot of that has to do with today's offense. But Jackson Dart, super efficient. I don't think they're going to miss much with Austin Simmons coming in. Really don't.
Yeah, he seemed the part. I mean, again, it is limited viewing, but he seemed the part when he came in against Georgia, and that was a huge moment in that game, by the way, with Dart going to the 10. And for a minute, I don't know if you guys remember this, or at least the way I felt, for a minute you thought Dart might be done for the game.
Oh, I had Ole Miss.
Yeah, so you really felt that way.
Yeah, because I think Georgia was like a 2-point favorite, and I was all over Ole Miss, and I was like, oh, my God, this is done.
I think eventually Dart actually went to the locker room for the remainder of that drive and then came back out. Interesting schedule for Ole Miss. 3 conference games in September. That's a heavy conference schedule in September. So by the time they get to their first bye week, which is early October, we'll know a little bit about their conference standing because they're at Kentucky, which has been a tricky matchup for them, even lesser Kentucky teams. They lost to Kentucky in Oxford last year.
Should have lost to them 2 years ago.
Yep. Lost it, ultimately kept them out of the playoffs. You host Arkansas and you host LSU. That's the thing. They at least get to host 2 of the 3.
I think they're going to be favored against LSU, though, in Oxford. Slight favorite. So they're going to be favored in their first 6 games. If they don't start 5-1 with this schedule, then they don't have an opportunity to do something special.
Here's the problem that we do with people like Lane Kiffin is we do this with Lincoln Riley. We probably do this with Sark, though he hasn't had a problem with it yet. We don't talk enough about defense, and they were really, really good defensively last year. They have lost Walter Nolan and J.J. Pegues and all these other
Jared
players.
Ivey. All those guys are done off the second best scoring defense in all of college football. A defense that recorded the school record 52 sacks. You're right. You know, I was going to make this point. Lane Kiffin's obviously done a tremendous job there, but there have been expectations the last couple of years. They haven't won an SEC championship since 1963. But if I was to tell you with Lane Kiffin's offense, you had the second best scoring defense in college football, that should equate to an appearance with that schedule in the college football playoffs.
Should have been in the playoffs.
We're going to learn a lot about Lane Kiffin, the coach, based on this. He's losing 14 starters. Guys like Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, they can just restock. If he truly has done a great job with portal and recruiting, they are going to be able to restock with this schedule. They're going to be favored in 9, possibly 10 games. If he goes 9-3, replacing 14 starters, to me that shows a better angle or another dimension of Lane Kiffin as a really good head coach.
You know what's fallen off a little bit, though, is their rush attack, because that's the other thing you don't appreciate about Lane Kiffin. You view him as this guy likes to throw it all over the field. Actually, Lane Kiffin runs the football more than he throws it. Just ask Derrick Henry. We always bring this up with Lane Kiffin. Alabama had a pretty good passing attack in 2015, and Derrick Henry carried it 395 times that year. So he likes to run the football to the point that when he first got to Ole Miss, they led the league in rushing pretty consistently. The last 2 years, they've been 5th in the league in rushing. That's not awful. I get it. But it's dropped off by about 50 yards a game on average, 40 to 50 yards a game. And you know, maybe those 40 rush yards turn into 40 pass yards with Jackson Dart. I don't know, but that has fallen off just a little bit for them.
Austin Simmons takes over. You're about to hear from Austin back during spring football about being the guy now at Ole Miss. He'll be judged, like LT said, following the most productive passer and offensive performer in Ole Miss history, and even better than the Mannings. But he'll have to do it with a receiving core that's been rebuilt through the portal, bringing in a kid from Penn State and Oklahoma State. Here's Austin Simmons on being the guy now in Oxford, Mississippi.
How's it been being the guy? Is that label different for you at Ole Miss? How's that changed your life?
I don't really look at being like the guy here, like very much like different. Like football's football at the end of the day, you know, regardless of if I'm the starting quarterback, if I'm the backup quarterback, it doesn't matter. We're still playing football. We're preparing for one thing, and we always have one goal, to win a national championship. So I always like set forth a goal for myself each and every day, you know, to always like progress and get better at one thing every day.
That's Austin Simmons there, and that's our team in our 40 and 40 countdown. It's Ole Miss at number 16 right there. We'll get to number 15 tomorrow. Will it be another SEC team? Tune in tomorrow and find out.
There's going to be a bunch of them coming up. That Austin Simmons looks like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray had a kid.
Oh, wow. I did see a little Kyler Murray in there.
Can you pull it back real quick?
I did see a little Kyler Murray in there, but I had not thought about Russell Wilson. You're right. Yeah, there's a lot of Kyler Murray in there. In fact, if you just told me Kyler Murray and somebody else good looking at a kid, I'd say, all right. I don't have to throw Russell in there.
Before we talk more college football quarterbacks, two of them in the SEC, our friends at Hemphill bring you the lock, lanceslock.com. We don't know if he has an ice pick tonight, but the Braves get back into action. More Padres, Dodgers tonight. All that at lanceslock.com.
So our friends from Hemphill came out yesterday at 4 o'clock. It was a toothbrush.
Down the drain?
Perfectly down the drain. They're like, I don't know how.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, they said it's really, really difficult to do.
Okay.
But that's why there was backed up water in the sink.
Makes sense.
But they were in and out in 15 minutes. So courteous. The guys at Hemphill Services, they don't need my address anymore. They don't have to put it in the GPS. 205-229-2980. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Two different stories out there today. I'll give you the headlines, and then we'll break it down first. But one of them is from Lenore Sellers' dad. We talked to Lenore Sellers yesterday. Lenore Sellers, a quarterback at South Carolina. We talked about him yesterday. Reports out there, according to his dad, that they were offered $8 million to transfer away from South Carolina in the offseason. $8 million. You believe it?
Oh, I can believe it.
They're not naming names.
Yeah, I can believe it just based on the fact if the numbers are accurate with, Darian Mensah, if the numbers are accurate with John Mateer, yeah, I could see that.
Because $8 million, it would have been almost a one-and-done situation, right? Is he not off to the...
He can be.
He can be off to the NFL.
I would say...
But I bet it was built like this, Brown. We'll give you $8 million for 2 years. Is probably the way they set it up. There was probably some incentives on the backside if he is one and done.
But even at $4 million, I mean that's national championship or wasted money, right? $8 million certainly is. And I'm just curious. This would be hard to do because, well, it may not be hard to do for you guys. I don't know. Can you think of a team that you would say with LaNorris Sellers, they're a national championship level team? Without him, they are not? Is there one that just jumps to mind?
Well, I mean,
they could spend this kind of money, I guess.
Truthfully, I think if it had been a national championship contender, he probably would have thought serious about doing it.
Oh, I think he would have. Not to say he definitely would have done it, but I think he would have thought seriously about it.
I mean, if you're Ohio State, Oregon, I know they're excited about Julian Say.
That's what I'm going to say, but I can't guarantee that saying, prevents them from winning a championship. That's my point.
I can't either, but with Sellers, I'm just saying you've already seen his upside with less talent around him.
Yeah.
If you put him on one of the more talented rosters in college football.
I mean, did y'all, when you hear an $8 million offer, did you not in your mind think of it? What was the first school you thought of? Did you, I mean...
Well,
does your mind work like that? My mind works like that.
Yes, but there's very limited schools that can make that offer.
Like Ohio State would be one of those schools. I mean, Texas
but I don't feel
isn't
like
going to be in the mix.
I don't feel like they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
I believe they're comfortable with Julian Saying. The one name that popped to mind to me was the guy that's got the open check right now. It was Bill Belichick in North Carolina.
I thought you were going to say my guy at Texas Tech.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They went Gio Lopez. I mean...
I know, that's where they ended up going,
But
in the spring portal,
I think if they really had that kind of money, they would have gotten better than Gio Lopez.
I don't think they spend the money wildly. I just think for Lenore Sellers, they would make an offer. Now, there's nothing.
I got to say, though, Jim, I don't even know if Lenore Sellers, I mean, I said a team you could put him on that made him a national championship contender. I don't think he would do that at North Carolina.
No, not at all. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying he wouldn't take it because he would have been in a equal or lesser situation.
Probably a worse situation, easier conference, but a worse team. I just don't know, like, I'm just sitting here going through my mind like a team that has to have Lenore Sellers to win a championship. Otherwise, they don't win one. And I really can't think of one because you can't say it about Alabama definitively. Ty Simpson could well be good enough to win a national championship. Can't say it about Florida. DJ Lagway could well be good enough. There's a lot of teams where you actually have seen the starter like Nussmeier at LSU. I mean, what you think Arch Manning is. I mean, Lance is right. Ohio State spends that kind of money. We've already seen it, but
I think
Julian Sayin may be better than Lenore Sellers. We do not know.
Ty Simpson may be fantastic.
Could
I hope
be.
he is. But
Could
Lenore
be.
Sellers in Tuscaloosa with that talent.
Alabama would win a national or would be very much in the mix. But my point is, they could also be with Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one. Where
Georgia.
That's an interesting one.
Tennessee. I mean, I don't think Tennessee would win a national championship.
Tennessee popped to mind because they obviously
But
were
why
in a
not?
desperate situation.
They were shopping. Yeah.
You know, I mean, to me, based on what you saw with Cam Ward, Miami would do better with Sellers than Carson Beck.
Yes, I would agree. But I still don't know if they win a national
No,
championship.
I don't
with
know
them.
if they do.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying Michigan. But, I mean, you just paid that kind of money for Bryce Underwood. How much you going to have at the quarterback position?
No, you want Underwood to start day one, I think.
For that kind of money, you almost have to.
You bring in Jake Garcia yesterday from Eastern Carolina and Missouri and Miami.
Notre Dame.
Garcia. Notre Dame could have been that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because you go from Riley Leonard, who is a similar player, but just a little more sizzle with Sellers.
Yeah, better Riley Leonard.
And Riley Leonard that you paid $1.52 million for last year, had you playing for a national championship, had you leading that game, now you get a better quarterback. To me, Notre Dame's quarterback is still so unproven. That position, I think they're going to have a drop-off.
AK says,
at least at that position.
While Georgia may be an obvious answer, Kirby Smart is the least obvious person to spend that much money on a quarterback. Yeah,
That's
there's
right.
no way Kirby would have done it.
He doesn't like playing that game at all.
Well, Brandon says, what about A&M?
Thought about him.
Marcel Reed, it would be an upgrade for Marcel Reed?
Yep. Marcel Reed is a poor man's
Lenore Sellers.
Lenore Sellers.
Yes.
This from Taylor, and she sent it out on our social media from Bussin' with the Boys, the podcast. Diego Pavia on there said that he was offered between $4 and $4.5 million to enter the transfer portal this offseason and chose to stay at Vanderbilt.
I do not believe that.
I do not believe that.
Yeah, I would call him a dummy if he did that.
Yeah, I do not believe. Yeah,
because not only is it more money, it's an opportunity to probably win somewhere.
Yeah,
no matter where he went, it would have been an upgrade.
Diego Pavia was a really nice story last year, and there was a minute where we were talking about him being maybe your first-team All-SEC quarterback, and that was more of a commentary on the way the rest of the quarterbacks in the league were playing at that time, more so than it was about Diego Pavia. This is going to come back to earth. We're going to regress to the mean with Diego Pavia here, guys, this year. This is not going to be the same Vanderbilt story. Diego Pavia is not going to be this guy that comes in and he's like a poor man's Brett Favre or a poor man's Baker Mayfield or whatever that runs around and makes all these plays and extends these plays. This is going to come crashing back to earth for Diego Pavia this year. There is zero chance somebody offered that guy $4 million. Diego Pavia was a nice story at Vanderbilt. He engineered an upset over Alabama. He engineered a road win at Auburn. He kept them in a lot of games they shouldn't have been in, including against Texas. But that is coming back to earth this year. This will not be the same Vanderbilt team. This will not be the same Diego Pavia. And he could not – it was just a weird right place, right time for him. He could not do that on other rosters. You put Diego Pavia on a good roster, he's not a $4 million quarterback.
Yep, I agree. I've said a couple times this summer, I think he doesn't have a great year this year. So those were just some of the wild stories out there. One we believe, one we don't. Diego Pavia on Bussin' with the Boys. If you want to check out that entire interview, which includes his belief that they are going to run the state of Tennessee in the future. Vanderbilt is continuing this year. Always interesting. Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama brings you part of the show. One more college football recruiting note here in a second. If you can get cut two ready for me, Tim, here. UCA is there for you to make sure that let's say you're ready to be cut. You're tired of the, you've had your kids, you're at that stage in your life, you're looking for a place to get a vasectomy. This is the place, Urology Centers of Alabama. They also help you stay healthy as you age from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, and so on. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. They got 16 wonderful locations, one convenient to you, professionals from top to bottom in the organization with great customer service. Kidney stones to prostate health and everything. It's Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Hey, hats off to all the recruiters out there, the GMs that have to do it, the coaches that have to do it. It is a grind in college athletics. You don't have a draft where you just evaluate and sit back and make a pick. You've got to go earn your roster. From South Carolina, this is head coach Shane Beamer. It's a message to 2027 quarterback prospect Trent Seaborn of Thompson, who started as an 8th grader. He's going into his junior year at Thompson High School just outside of our studio here in Alabaster, Alabama. This is Shane Beamer. Now imagine how many recruits in 2026 and 2027 that he's already having to do this is. It's a special message that Trent Seaborn shared on social media from head coach Shane Beamer. Listen in.
Trent, we miss you in Columbia, buddy. It was so much fun having you here for camp earlier this month. Really enjoyed visiting with you. Every time I see you, I love you even more, my man. Want you to be our quarterback going forward. Glad that we can finally communicate with you in the class of 2027, and I can't wait to see you back home in Columbia soon. Go Gamecocks.
Stay with it. Oh, we got signage and everything. Welcome home, Trent Seaborn.
You got Harry Connick back on the piano behind it.
Tickling the ivories.
Was that a video screen up there?
Yeah, I think so.
You think it was? It wasn't just actual signage?
Yeah.
Easy to change the video screen.
Yeah, but
to the next recruit there.
Man, what a...
I mean, you have to do that over and over and over and over. I mean, how many of those do you send out? Is that a video screen or is it a sign? Can you tell, Melton?
It looks. I see the panels like it's a video screen.
Yeah, it's a video screen.
Yeah, it's a video screen.
Yeah, that makes less work.
Yeah, it does
like
make
that.
less work.
But that's a weird place to put a video screen, isn't it?
Kinda.
Yeah,
works good for that video right there.
Tall and skinny.
Do you ever go in a house, Brown, before you do and you see somebody's TV set up and you're like, man, that is a terrible spot for a TV.
Yes. But what's worse is when you go in a house, they don't have a TV in their living room. You're like, what are we going to do after we eat dinner?
Yeah. I think it's very weird if you don't have a TV in your
We got
house.
to talk? So do you think, first of all, he does this for numerous quarterbacks, not just Trent Seaborn, because I noticed.
Not just quarterbacks, I'm sure.
Oh, I know. But what I noticed in the video is we want you to be our quarterback. And he's telling that to several other guys, right? Because he doesn't know he's going to get Trent. So does
what if you dated like this?
I know. I want you to be my wife.
You don't think a lot of people do date like this?
Maybe.
Did he, so do you know, is that made with the intent of Trent sharing it as kind of a flex? Or did Trent just like, look what Shane Beamer sent me?
I don't know. I think it was Forster that sent that to me last night when we were looking at it. I don't know if it was posted by the Gamecocks or if it was posted by Trent. Both of the courtesies are up in the right-hand corner, so I get the feeling it may have been on both social media.
So because occasionally we'll get asked, kid unfortunately is in the hospital or something like that. Any players or coaches from this team that could do it. And a lot of coaches are very nice about doing that, or players for us, and we send it to the family. But they say, hey, just don't share it on social media because they
don't want to do it 1,000 times.
That's right. Honestly, they don't want to get up every time a poor kid gets sick, right? So that's why I was asking that. I just wondered if Shane Beamer was like, send this to Trent, and I don't really intend on it getting public. And then all of a sudden Trent's is like, hey, look at this. Shane Beamer wants me to be his quarterback. Is this kid that good?
Melton, you've seen him a lot.
I have.
Oh, that's right. I forget. Melton.
Very good. Yeah,
very good.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, right when we started this, the kid was like starting as like a 7th grader. What did you say, 8th grader?
Yeah.
What grade is he even now?
But he could throw a great deep ball back then. I don't know how much he's refined his game. I'm sure a lot.
He's going into his junior year now, and he's really making a lot of progress with his legs too, getting those gritty yards when they're needed.
Okay, so
he won a lot of games last year with his legs in clutch moments. So, yeah, no, he's great. He's played in 3 straight championship games, state championship games. He's won 2 of them.
How big is he?
Well, he grows every summer, so I can't give you an accurate report until I see him in about a month.
But he's smaller than you, bigger than Dunaway.
Yeah. That is correct.
Yeah, he's over 6 feet.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got quarterback size.
He grows every summer. I mean, he goes through a growth spurt.
From his own social media, he lists himself at 6'1", 200.
So he's right at 6 feet, probably 185.
He also lists himself as a 4.5 GPA before even the.
Also plays a main saxophone.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
What does this kid not do well?
Plays saxophone, yeah.
Thompson.
Really
Saxophone, we have a lot in common.
That's right. Where does it stop? Where does it stop, Jim? Where does it stop?
Yeah.
White male, that's about it.
Yeah. Let's
But
see.
maybe he's a big jazz guy. Maybe that's the reason they had the,
the
jazz piano.
Playing in the background.
I see a lot of Clemson on his social media, though, so this is interesting.
Oh, you know.
Oh, Dabo's
Trent, I don't know
Dabo's
ya.
all in on this.
Yeah.
I think both of these head coaches are pretty hokey. I would definitely go to Clemson.
Yeah. Wow. Our viewing menu every day brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Michelson Laser Vision LT.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. I had the 20/200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts after the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Call, ask for Amy. Tell her the next round's Cynthia. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Tyler, what you got, man?
Nothing much for new releases today, but we got plenty of old classics you can go back to. Tubi has added 2 incredibly rewatchable movies, Independence Day and The Other Guys. I love both of these movies for completely different reasons. Independence Day is a great popcorn movie, and The Other Guys is just one of those timeless Will Ferrell comedies.
Didn't like either.
I've never seen The Other Guys. I've seen Independence Day. I mean, you just got to turn your brain off and just enjoy the action, I guess. I don't know.
Independence Day is 4th of July holiday viewing where you just want to watch a marathon of that all day long. It's great.
Do you?
I can only watch it once. I watched it once. And The Other Guys, to me, so overrated.
And The Other Guys is, you haven't seen it, Brown, but
Nope.
if you've ever seen a clip of Samuel L. Jackson saying, aim for the bushes, and then they jump off of a roof.
Okay, yeah. That's from that movie?
Yep,
Yeah.
or Will Ferrell shooting off a gun at his desk.
Yeah.
I
The
got
desk
pelted
pop.
with change during that movie in the movie theater.
Okay.
There were a bunch of kids up in the top row, and I was down below, and they were throwing change at me. And we were in a recession at the time, so it really, I was like, you're lost, buddy.
Yeah, but I would think all you have to do is stand up. And then you've got an eclipse of half the screen.
That's right. No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, I went back there.
Did you?
I did.
Good.
Yeah. It stopped.
I'm sure it did.
Netflix has added an older show that did really well, Scandal. I have not seen a single episode of this show, but seasons 1 through 7 are now available on Netflix if anybody wants to binge watch them.
I think it was a guilty pleasure for a lot of women. I would ask at this point, Dunaway, did you ever watch Scandal?
Nope, did not. Well, I don't even know what Scandal is, to be honest with you.
It
Is that the Kerry Washington?
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's Kerry
with
Washington.
the president.
Yeah.
Shonda Rhimes, I believe, is behind
she
it.
has a relationship with the president, right?
Tony Goldwyn, who was
Yeah.
in Ghost, was the prez. Yeah.
Nope, that one never resonated with me.
And then finally at 7:30 tonight on the BBC America channel, you can watch Trading Places. I love this movie with Eddie Murphy.
It is a good one, yeah. Very good movie.
Yeah, that was a good one. Thank you, Tyler. That's the Michelson Laser Vision viewing menu of the day.
205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
When we come back, Clay Travis scheduled to be with us. We'll talk to Clay about the usual stuff we talk to Clay. Ole Miss is number 16 today in our 40 and 40 countdown. Later on in the show, lopsided rivalry. So we'll get to that today in a little college football discussion. All that right here on the next round, brought to you from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. Always a good time at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. This is the TNR Show.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game.
Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we may get to Clay Travis here in just a second. Baseball is about to crank back up in Omaha with the UCLA-LSU winners bracket game. Loser faces Arkansas tonight. They had heavy rain last night. This part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Twin Peaks.
Game 6, Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Oilers Panthers. Are the Panthers going to hoist another cup? You can watch it all at one of those great locations of Twin Peaks. Enjoy the 29-degree drafts. Get there early. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference. They've got everything from tequila cocktails, that extensive bourbon category, top-shelf spirits and cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out a great drink menu, second to none. And again, don't forget about the 29-degree drafts. You see it right there, served in 3D. Twin Peaks girls running around. Game 6 tonight, Stanley Cup Finals. Get into one of those great locations.
Hey, a new pennant grace is today at 12:15, and of course the meltdown's at 2. Baseball-wise, last night, Shohei Ohtani did make his first pitching debut in a long time, I think 600-something days. 1 run, 2 hits in 1 inning, but he did hit 100 miles per hour on his fastball, which is a good sign. And then, of course, he was 2 for 4 with a double, a walk, and 2 RBIs while hitting Pretty impressive night for one inning pitching.
Most exciting athlete right now in sports. You could definitely make the argument. A lot of people would gravitate towards Ohtani. This is a situation where normally he would be getting a rehab start, but because he's so valuable at the plate, his rehab is going to be at this level, and one of the reasons that he only pitched an inning last night. But I think the positives were he did hit 100.2 on his 10th pitch, 17th pitch was right at 100, so the velocity was there, and he'll get back into his pitching groove.
They'll ease him in. Dodgers won a very important game in that National League West that's very crowded, beating the Padres 6-3. You can watch that series tonight on TBS at 9 o'clock there. The Braves start a very important series with the Mets at 6:15 this evening over at Truist Park. And nobody cares. I try not to talk about my team. But Tampa Bay won again last night. They got their 40th win. They're only 2.5 games behind the Yankees in the American League East. A little different payroll in those two franchises. So amazing run from the Rays again. What's crazy is the Yankees now have gone 20 innings without scoring a run. Remember the torpedo bats early on?
We're going to outlaw their bats in week 1. What are we doing now?
Now 20 innings without a run, and they've lost 4 games. They lost last night 1-0. That's some baseball as that series continues there. We'll keep an eye on Omaha for you guys as UCLA and LSU play in the top of the 4th with LSU up 5-3 in that game, trying to advance to the sweet spot in a double elimination tournament.
All right, let's talk to Clay Travis, founder of Outkick. You see him on Fox as well, at Clay Travis on social media. He is with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Welcome in, Clay. How do we find you today?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic, man. We appreciate the time as always. I want to start a little off the board here with Ole Miss because they're our preview team today. We just talked a lot of Ole Miss Rebels. Our voters had them number 16 in the top 25, and it is weird to say number 16 would be a disappointment for Ole Miss this year where Lane Kiffin had them last year.
Well, I think they're still kind of recovering from the disappointment of losing to Florida to finish off the season last year, right? And then to his credit, Jackson Dart rebounded, got drafted in the first round, and may be the starting quarterback for the Giants this year. But I think on the offensive side of the ball, Lane Kiffin's answered a lot of questions. They seem to have gone an interesting route in the transfer portal, by which I mean they're supplementing their team more than I would say your average top team in the SEC has been in the portal. But it seems to have worked out in general for them. I think that's probably a reasonable spot to have them going into the 2025 season.
We were talking LaNorris Sellers, and Dunaway said there's a report out there that $8 million was a number he walked away from. First of all, I find that hard to believe. But if $8 million was the number, do you think Tennessee would have been involved in LaNorris Sellers leaving South Carolina to go to Tennessee?
Well, I don't think he would have been eligible to go to Tennessee
that's
because
right.
I think he can't
true.
transfer in conference.
Yep.
For the second one of the transfer portal. So I don't think Tennessee was one of those teams. I think they kicked the tires on a bunch of guys. It's hard to get guys, candidly, to leave when you get to that second transfer portal because everybody's kind of built in already. I think their expectations of who's going to be starting and where they're going to be and all those things. So I don't think I'm skeptical anybody offered him $8 million. But I'm definitely very skeptical that I'm certain that it was no SEC team.
Do you agree with Kirby? We were talking about this yesterday. He said this back at the SEC meetings in Destin. But we brought it back up yesterday because of who was it that was making the recommendation? Was it the Coaches Association or the NCAA?
Rules Committee.
Rules Committee. On the transfer portal, Kirby says there needs to be one. The Rules Committee says we'll have one. It's got to be January 2nd through the 12th, I think was the date.
That's the one they're recommending right now.
Yeah, does that look, I think, Clay, the way this ultimately gets fixed, I've said it so much that people are tired of hearing me say it, is players are going to be on contract. But until players on contract are on contract, do you think that's a reasonable fix? One basically 2-week sprint at the start of January?
I think probably the teams that are in the playoff would prefer that they start it after the postseason, right? Or finish the postseason before that all started. Now, you're only talking maybe about 4 teams that are still alive at that point in the season. But I would imagine that, the Kirby Smarts of the world probably would prefer that the season be able to be completed before you have to go through the process of trying to recruit new guys to join your team. And so I don't think that's ideal. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of, and I don't know if they've changed it. You guys may remember, but they always would have the Major League Baseball draft in the middle of the college baseball postseason. And all the coaches kind of would look around and say, boy, this is really not very helpful that we're trying to go through the process if you make the College World Series or whatever else. Meanwhile, you got guys getting drafted. It was kind of a mess. I think they pushed it back. And so I know that there's challenges associated with, getting guys enrolled and being able to be there for the spring semester. But I think most people would probably prefer to finish the season before you have to, immediately dive into the transfer portal process.
I know you're younger than us, but I always picture you around 45 years old. I don't know if I'm close to that or not, but in my head, that's where you are. Do you remember the OJ car chase on this date back in 1994? And did you ever watch that 30 for 30? It's one of our favorites.
Yeah, I think it was fantastic. And yeah, I do remember. I'm 46. So I was, whatever the math is on that, 15. I think when the OJ car chase happened. And is it basically the 31 years ago? I remember last year a lot of people talking about it because it had been 30 years. And it's that's a great 30 for 30. And that's one of those moments where, can you imagine social media, what it would have looked like in the middle of the OJ and honestly the OJ investigation, because obviously that was the entire process would have been crazy the way it played out. And I can only imagine the leaks and reporting that would have happened, accurate and inaccurate, on social media. But in the real time, when OJ's driving along in the Bronco, that would have been a truly crazy moment to be experiencing in real time on social media. But it was a truly crazy moment for everybody out there that was watching on television as that played itself out.
31 years ago, and I brought this up, Clay, we were all relatively young at that point and naive to human nature, I think. When I heard OJ, I was like, there's no way OJ killed somebody. But that was back in a day where, when you're growing up, you get a little more jaded each and every year. And I brought this up. You didn't really think anybody was, cheating on their wife, or, any of these celebrities could do any wrong. Do you think it was like, if you went back to 1994, do you think the 40 plus were like, okay, OJ could have done this, and it was just us young being dumb, being naive, not believing he could do that?
Well, I think it's also OJ. I think, well, maybe there's people who were cynical and older now, but I think a lot of people looked at OJ as a uniquely affable sort of guy. I mean, he was the Hurt spokesperson. He was, in the Naked Gun. He was just, he wasn't a guy that ever really had any sort of danger in his background that we knew about, right? I mean, there are guys out there that have had violent past. If Mike Tyson in 1994 had been accused of killing someone, I don't know what year he was accused of the rape, but I think people would have been like, Mike Tyson, violent guy. I think he got in a fist fight in a lingerie store once, in New York, if I remember correctly. Like, OJ didn't have that sort of image of violence associated with him. So I think that probably characterized it. I don't know who the equivalent of OJ today would be. I know he's buddies with you guys, but I think people would be surprised if Charles Barkley were accused of murder, because I know he's had, run-ins in the past, but he's a super likable guy. I'm trying to think of someone in sports media today that,
of our friends, do you not? Of our friends on the show, do you not think you would be voted by our audience more likely to commit murder than Barkley? You think it'd be Barkley?
I think it would be Barkley's got some violent background.
Somebody out of didn't Barkley throw somebody out of a window?
Yeah,
once?
he did. But Clay has never done that.
Clay, you would have if you had the physical upper body strength to do it. You would have done it at some point.
Clay is not aggressive like that.
I don't get that angry. So somebody would have to really, threaten me in order. But I don't think Barkley gets that angry now. I think he's probably would say, you can ask him, I think he's probably would say he's mellowed quite a bit since he was in his 20s or early 30s. I think I got pretty good upper body strength, by the way. Did you see me rep out 185 10 times? I don't know how many media members can rep out 185 10 times.
Oh, that's a great idea, by the way. Media combine. Well,
member combine?
Media combine, I would be a first-round draft pick. I mean, there's a lot of fat and athletic people in those press boxes.
Yeah, that is a super low bar, media member
very
combine.
low. It's like being a good-looking guy on radio. I mean, you don't have to be that good-looking to be a good-looking guy on radio.
Can you think of anything in our lifetime? Clay Travis with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorney Hotline. Like, I was born in 76. I'm 49. I think only 9/11 probably was more watched than the OJ chase in my lifetime by a universal audience. Like, I think Super Bowls, there had to be more people watching the OJ chase than watch a normal Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, it was on every channel, right? So, I mean, I think that certainly the 9/11 comparison, obviously 9/11 was on every channel. Like, I think even if you were watching MTV on, September 11th, like they had coverage of what happened in New York City. So, other than 9/11, I can't really think of anything that has been like that. I mean, look, I'm glad it didn't happen, but the Trump near assassination, I think would have been close to probably in the last 10 years or so, the thing that almost everybody became aware of back on July 13th. But yeah, fortunately, knock on wood, we haven't had another 9/11 like incident. But yeah, I think if you were alive in 1994 in June, certainly if you were a sports fan, but even if you were not, it was something that everybody watched. And then the whole OJ trial, we haven't. I know Diddy's on trial right now, and I know they had the Harvey Weinstein trial, and I know there have been a lot of Johnny Depp celebrity trials that have taken place. But the whole way that the OJ trial played out, I mean, it was basically the news story for a year and a half where everybody cared about. And then remember the verdict. I remember I was in school. I guess that would have been 95 at some point.
Yep.
I mean, I think they tried him relatively quickly. And I think it would have been like October. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it was. It was
October of 95 or something that they gave the OJ verdict. I remember being in school at the time, and like every television in school was on to see what the verdict was going to be.
You have told the story before about I think you were flying into like St. Louis or Kansas City, like the most scared you've ever been on a flight. We saw a little bit over a week ago, Air India, 242 people on board, one survived. I'm sure you and Buck might have got into that a little bit. But watching that video, and now it comes out that the guy jumped out of the plane. I still don't understand how the guy survived, whether he jumped out of the plane or not.
Well, this was my argument. Was this the dumbest argument I'd ever made? Like my theory of how to survive a plane crash. Like this guy basically did it. Like, right? You have to jump out at like the absolute perfect time. He was in seat 11A, right? Like right next to the
emergency exit.
Emergency exit, right? So I'm guessing the emergency exit door probably popped off in some way. I don't know that he pulled it, but that maybe it popped off as part of the crash, and then he, got out. I mean, it reminds me of the Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis movie Invincible. Do you remember that movie where Unbreakable, sorry, where the evil character, for spoiler alert, I mean, it's been out a long time, you haven't seen it. The whole concept is he's Mr. Glass, and he's trying to find the opposite of him, someone who is basically unbreakable, which is the Bruce Willis kind of superhero. And he's the lone survivor of a train crash, if I remember correctly, is how like the movie begins.
You did. I do remember now that you used to tell us survive a plane crash by jumping out of the plane right before it hits the ground.
I don't think I would jump with you. I think I would feel better being buckled up in the seat.
I mean, just next time you land in a plane, see how fast you're going when the plane is landing the way it's supposed to.
I understand how it is a stupid argument.
It is
but
a stupid
that was
argument.
that was my theory, and it appears this guy has somehow managed to apply my theory and survive. So maybe you guys should give me a little bit more credit for being an incredible survivor.
There's a chance he got sucked out of that door, and he now is saying he jumped at the right time. That he may have just been sucked out.
I am late on this story. Russell in the chat room, AK in the chat room, are saying he's done an interview since and said he walked out of the plane. So
that's what I thought.
He survived the crash and walked out.
Oh, okay. So he
That's
didn't
what
jump.
I thought, but I thought maybe he had updated it and now said that he jumped out. But
there was a report that he had jumped.
Yeah, that was my theory. Was the last possible moment that you should jump out of the airplane right before it hits. And everybody told me I was a moron, but I would love for this guy to have survived and proven that is possible.
Hey, before you go, and since we got a good connection with you, you've never told it on this platform for a whole new audience. Would you remind people, because I just pulled up your Wikipedia page to check your age. I didn't want you to lie to us. And
you thought I was going to lie about how old I was on the show? What am I, a divorced woman from Mountain Brook?
We live in an era where I want to fact check everything, Clay. Would you tell this audience, so we have it on this platform, your pudding strike story that got you really started in your career, the pudding strike, and just so we have it on this platform so it's saved forever?
Yeah, well, forever I think is doing a lot of work there. But the 04, I graduated from Vanderbilt Law School. And I had a choice. I could be a lawyer stateside, or I could move to the U.S. Virgin Islands. The managing partner of the biggest law firm in the Caribbean was a Vanderbilt law grad. And so I interviewed and decided to go and, take the bar exam and move to, I was getting married, got married, moved to the U.S. Virgin Islands in 2004. So I was 25, right when I graduated from law school, took the bar there and went to work. And I didn't realize, it's kind of crazy, but at that point in time, the NFL Sunday ticket was the only way that you could get out of market NFL games, right? So I imagine most people probably remember this era, but so if you weren't, let's say, like we, in Nashville would get the Titans, but if you weren't a Titans fan and you wanted to watch the Denver Broncos or the New York Giants or whoever your team was, you had to go out to a sports bar, or you had to have DirecTV NFL Sunday ticket. The only way you could get it was DirecTV NFL Sunday ticket. So DirecTV did not service the U.S. Virgin Islands. Like, they didn't. DirecTV was not. If you go look at the globe or you go look at a map, the U.S. Virgin Islands is actually really far out to the east, and we were closer to Latin America than we were to North America. And so there was nowhere you couldn't go out and see the NFL games at a sports bar. And so I thought that was crazy. And so I started a pudding strike in 2004. It was kind of a humorous take on a hunger strike. And my idea was that I would only eat pudding, like Hunt's snack pack puddings, until the NFL was brought to the islands. And it got a ton of media attention. And that's actually when I started writing online in 04.
Did the Sunday ticket eventually come to the islands? Were you successful?
So yes, we were able to get so it was funny. They wouldn't service, DirecTV wouldn't, the island, but they would service boats. So we were able to register a DirecTV satellite dish to a yacht and then have the yacht exist close to a bar that would then be able to pick up the NFL Sunday ticket in the bars.
Okay.
50 days of pudding, by the way.
That's
not just chocolate, I assume.
That's a lot of pudding.
Do you work in
a lot
vanilla?
Of different. I would do a pudding review, so I would try all of the different Hunt snack pack, and so I did like a pudding diary.
And you cheated.
I cheated, of course. I mean, I don't want to die, but I mean, to be fair, also, like, I was a lawyer.
and you have business dinners and everything else. Can you imagine if like you went out to eat with your lawyer who you're paying several $100s an hour to, and he was like, no, I'm not going to get the tuna, not going to get the steak. I'll have to open my snack pack here.
I'm on a pudding strike.
I'm on a pudding strike. I understand you're paying hundreds of dollars for my legal acumen, but
I'm not crazy, by the way. I'm not crazy.
Most clients would probably be like, I'm not, I don't want the guy with the snack pack at the steakhouse, repping me going forward. I don't feel good about him in the courtroom.
All right, he is Clay Travis, at Clay Travis on social media. You can hear him on the Clay and Buck show, see him on Fox as well. Clay, thank you very much for the time. Have a great week.
Hey, appreciate y'all. I'll see you.
All right, buddy. Clay with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
Yes.
By the way, just real quick, I don't know if y'all saw it, but we got the email. Shows you how close we are. The Sunday ticket email. Did y'all see it?
I have not seen it.
Came the other day. That's right. If you want to renew, click right here. That got me excited a little bit.
I have not seen it. I haven't gotten it yet.
It was like an early... And we'll go ahead and do that because there was something that jumped out.
It's actually Alexander Shunnarah.
Okay.
So I'd love you to do that.
I will do that. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. That's the people that have made more than $2 billion.
That's
They've
good.
recovered more than $2 billion for
You got to be
their
good
clients.
to do that, yeah.
I would say so, Jim. 150 lawyers supported by more than 500 dedicated team members.
That's a lot of pudding.
That is a lot of pudding. Again, recover more than $2 billion by maintaining Alexander's core values. And those core values are integrity, mastery, passion, and success. That's what he has followed, and it has led him to that. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com. Coming soon to NFL Sunday Ticket month to month. So it will be available starting in September. You can pay $145 just to get a month. So I guess the way you would do that is you would dip your toe in and see how good your team's going to be. And if you pay for September and your team sucks in September, you're like, okay, I'm not going to do
Or
October.
if you have 2 or 3 primetime games in a month.
That's right. So they're offering a month to month.
So what is the total package?
I can get
$349, I think.
$36 off right now. I can enjoy the convenience of 12 easy installments of $37 a month.
Yeah, so it's gone up.
But they're allowing you to pay for it over a year, though, 12 installments. So you're not having to pay for it during football. But $145 a month if you just want to do a singular
But,
month.
them prying it away from DirecTV, they can charge whatever they want. They
They
charge
absolutely
$1,000 a year and they'll get it.
Yeah. I debate every year. And then I said last year I wasn't going to get it. And then I got it. Actually, I said I wasn't going to get it, and then it automatically renewed. At that point, what can you do?
If you want to watch your team, you need it.
But again, I'll say...
we have surprisingly more games on than I thought we would have, to be honest with you.
We pay a lot of money for a lot of things in the entertainment world. I don't know. Each Sunday, we've done the math. What is it, like $35 a Sunday, you think?
Yeah.
Best value in sports.
I mean, to me, it is such an entertaining Sunday to sit there and watch the NFL for $35.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is that would keep me away from watching a Rams game.
Yeah. And it just beside the fact that it's the only way I can get a lot of Dolphins games or him Rams games or you Bucks games.
But in reality, some people, they're just not financially in that situation.
No, they're not.
And
They're
I
not.
come across that every time, every football season. I'm like, do I really, in my situation, can I afford to pay that much money for that?
But you're paying that in a day of golf.
That's
every
right.
day.
I mean, it's cheaper than a green fee.
Sometimes.
What's more important? I mean, you just got to prioritize.
That's right. I mean, a lot of people have to make it a priority decision, obviously.
Yeah, like I don't have a hobby. I don't play golf. So like my hobby is the Rams.
Yeah. It's to me, just pulling the Dolphins out of it, it's the only way I can watch a Dolphins game. That early window is so entertaining to sit there and have access to all the games.
YouTube TV, I get the Red Zone for free, I think.
Do you? I thought
so. I think so. I get the Red Zone anyway.
That's fun too, man.
I may be paying for that too.
Jim, with the way you've been playing poker, you can afford the NFL.
Oh, did he win last night, Melton?
No, we did not play
we
last
didn't play
night.
last night. We're playing later tonight.
Is he on a heater?
He won last season, yeah.
Oh, I heard he won
last season.
Yeah, he won the whole season.
The whole season. It was the biggest shock. He's really been an inspiration to the rest of the club.
An inspiration?
Because now everyone thinks that they have a chance.
So now you've got money to get Sunday tickets.
Money to burn.
Yeah. I spent that on my golf trip. All right. New York Butcher Shop gets us to the commercial break. When we come back, 4 downs, our Bo Tender moment of the day, which was actually a thing I would have loved to have done yesterday. That's all coming up. Tell us about New York Butcher Shop. Did you go there last night?
I did not go there last night.
Upset.
But Jack Taylor is coming over tonight, so there is a good chance we're going to roll into the New York Butcher Shop. I did want to share this story from our man Jim, and this will blow you guys away. I just wanted to make sure that he was okay with me sharing the story. And he said, so he said, on a different note, listening to the show Friday, heard y'all talking about the lightning strikes. Didn't tell you, I was hit by lightning while I was pressure washing the driveway a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, no.
Reaching over to turn the water faucet off when the lightning struck my left hand, arched to my right hand, was touching the faucet. Fortunately, wearing rubber boots, which prevented the strike from grounding through me, and instead went to the piping of my house.
Oh, my gosh. That's Jim?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So
well,
he is okay.
Yeah. Talking about smoking a butt.
Yeah, and he is going to be smoking the butts coming up for the 4th of July Boston Butt Sale. Hickory smoked, fully cooked, $42.99 each. Available for pickup Wednesday the 2nd, Thursday the 3rd, and Friday the 4th. Reserve yours today. 2 locations, the original Caba Heights, Greystone location as well. Stop and see Jim of the great staff. And again, tell them the next round sent you. Rare quality, well-done service to the New York Butcher Shop.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Caba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
There's no offseason at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Before we do the Bo Tender moment, Brown found the price on the Sunday ticket.
$520 a month is what they're asking right now. I had not clicked on the email just yet. I can get $36 off of that if I pay now, though.
That's an extraordinary price hike over the last couple of years. So good news is it goes away from DirecTV. Now they can charge whatever they want, but that's like a 50% hike over the last couple of years.
So $522 a year. I can break it up into 4 payments of $121.50 a month, or that's $486 a year. I don't know how that works.
By the way, I was.
You can get it for I can get it for $486 because I'm a YouTube customer. I think $520 is if you're not a YouTube customer. I'm a YouTube TV customer, so it's $486 for me.
I was looking at a Rowback golf shirt, and it said you can do it in 4 easy installments of like $20 each. And I'm like, if you've got to break this up in 4 installments of $20 of buying a shirt, you probably shouldn't buy that shirt.
Or go buy a $20 shirt. $27 a Sunday. That's what that comes out to. And that's always been my point is, you can't do a movie for $27.
That's close.
It's hard.
They got programs.
But if we just went in and hadn't been to a movie in 2 or 3 months, you don't have a membership.
You're gonna get stuck with that.
So for me, I'd far rather sit home and watch an NFL Sunday for $27 than go to a movie. That's always been my only point. It does seem like a big price, but when you consider it in those terms.
All right, it's time for our Bojangles Tender Moment of the Day, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
That is right, Jimmy D. It can be bow time for you at Bojangles. From sweet to heat, they've got 7 sauces that will add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. If you want to add some tang, try barbecue. You want some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce ready and waiting, head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
All right, so on Monday, after the U.S. Open, yesterday, a scratch golfer who works with the Golf Channel, Brownie, I forget his name, he got to go out and play Oakmont with the pins and everything. Everybody was discussing what would an amateur golfer shoot on the Oakmont U.S. Open setup.
Okay.
So he went out Monday, and he's a scratch golfer, a 0.5 handicap.
All right.
That's scratch, right?
That is scratch. Yep.
Okay, so he's a 0.5 handicap. He didn't even play it from the tips.
Okay.
He played it from the members' tees, which was 6,700 yards.
So he cut off about 1,000 yards.
Yeah. So what do you think he shot? Did you see the story?
I have not seen the story, or I might even know the guy that did this. So he's a scratch golfer playing basically.
What was to par there, 70?
70 was par, but he's also playing at roughly 800 yards. I think they played it at 7,500 some odd yards.
I will say he was 21 over.
So he cut 2 holes off, basically. You say 21 over?
Yeah, 91.
So a 91. I'm going to say he shot a 95.
Wow, you guys right in the middle, 93.
93,
Yep.
yeah.
And
that was without the pressure of crowds watching.
Yeah, and the people at the Golf Channel, they'd put 93.5 as his over-under from that distance.
Yeah.
Flew under, right?
Well, I told somebody the other day, because there's always this debate, most golfers think they're better than they really are. You would grant me that, right, Dunaway?
Yes.
And even you that don't play a lot of golf. Yeah. They think they're better than they really are. So there's always this debate of, I'm a really good player at my local country club. What could I shoot at Augusta on Sunday? And people far overvalue what they think they could shoot at Augusta on Sunday, right? It looks so easy when the pros do it. My only point is Justin Thomas missed the cut at plus 12. You could take Justin Thomas to the course you think's the toughest course in your city, wherever you're watching or listening to this show. Drop him on this course. He's never seen the course. I would put the over-under at 65.5. And he just missed the cut, plus 12. And he could go out to your course today and probably, without ever seeing a hole, shoot a 65. and you play your best day and don't shoot a 65.
Well, you heard the Sepp Straka going out to Hoover and set the course record the first time he ever played.
Never saw it. Shot a 62.
What did this guy say was the most difficult part of it? Was it the rough? Was it the putting?
It was the putting.
Yep.
Putting in the rough, but the putting for him was what he struggled most with.
Yeah, if you go out,
can't avoid the putting, right?
Yeah,
you can
got
avoid
to
the
do
rough.
that every hole. It's hard to avoid it. Even the pros can do that. But Jim, if you go out and play it strictly by the rules, which by the way, most golfers don't do that.
That's right.
You play it strictly by the rules. I don't think the best player at your club could break 90. Wherever you're listening to him and you're like, okay, but you haven't seen this guy. This guy plays in my city, and he's the best player in my city. He couldn't break 90. It's just that shows you how good a J.J. Spawn, who, by the way, is just a journeyman golfer. That's all this guy is, a journeyman golfer. But it shows you how good those guys really are.
Little developing news here before I tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing. According to On3 Sports, 4-star quarterback Jet, I'm going to say Tamala, Thomalla. 4-star quarterback Jet Tamala has flipped his commitment from Iowa State to Alabama. That they're from Hayes Fawcett and the fine folks at On3 Sports. So a little flip there.
Boy, I tell you what, if I'm Iowa State, I'm so excited about getting a 4-star quarterback, and then Alabama comes in and swaps him. That's a tough one. I'm trying to see. Okay, I've got some numbers on him here. 6'4", 210, Omaha, Nebraska. Boy, right in the backyard for Matt Rule.
Right, yeah. But I guess this kid probably wants to play almost immediately.
Yeah, and Raiola's not going to let you do that?
Raiola is going to be there at least next year.
Yeah, what about Keelan Russell, the 5-star guy in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah.
70% completion percentage as a junior Dunaway, 47 touchdowns, 3 picks in Omaha, Nebraska.
So what do you promise if you're DeBoer and Grubb? Like just an equal opportunity to win this starting job?
I mean,
because you've already told Russell you're the future. You're going to win us a championship.
I made it unofficial. I don't know how it all works and how you stack a quarterback room. You gave his size 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'4", 210, according to Hayes Fawcett.
I got 6'3.5", 205.
He grew before Hayes tweeted.
Yep. 2026 class, 47 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 75% completion rates. That sounds pretty good. Flip alert there from 24/7.
His quote in Hayes Fawcett's tweet is "All glory to God, roll Tide." So he's already got the lingo down. God, then Bama. He'll find that some people go Bama first, right? They go roll Tide. Oh, and all glory to God, too.
Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing gets us to our 4 downs today. Greg from Pell City will get on your roof and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. Just call the number, 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. Call him, text him, either way with that number. Or you can go on Facebook, Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Contact him there as well. Find out that it's a family-owned, locally owned company for over 20 years now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Free inspection, full roof replacements, storm damage repairs. He does it all. Great with the insurance companies. He's been doing it for over 20 years, as I said. So he's wonderful with the insurance providers there. Replacement on the roof, the storm damage, but that free no-cost roof inspection is such a great place to start. Good family man, good businessman. He's Greg from Pell City, Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531.
First down.
What happens first? Jets get back to a Super Bowl or Ole Miss wins an SEC championship?
I mean, oddly, Ole Miss is much closer to me to winning an SEC championship than the Jets are to playing in the Super Bowl.
But, let's just hypothetically say that Arch Manning is going to be as good as, his uncles. And the Jets had the number 1 overall pick, or they somehow get Arch in next draft. I mean, all you've got to do, it's not this simple. But
we're still
if
the Jets
you have a very, very
yeah.
elite quarterback, then you have a fighting shot.
I mean, did the Jets think they had that in Sam Darnold? They did, right? Oh, you say no. Okay.
I mean, maybe when they drafted him.
That's what I'm saying.
I never saw that.
Oh, I didn't either. Yeah. But when they drafted him at USC, they thought a lot of him, did they not?
They came close with Peyton Manning.
Did they think they had that with Zach Wilson?
No.
They were very. Oh, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
Even when they drafted him.
Yeah, I would say this.
Didn't they pick him in the top 5?
Getting the right quarterback can help you win in college faster than it can in the NFL.
I agree 100%.
I mean, you say that. It depends on how good the quarterback is. mean, Jaden Daniels had the Commanders in the NFC Championship game.
But Jaden Daniels is really good.
Oh,
And that team was better around him than a lot of places. Caleb Williams, the team around him, wasn't great when he got there. Bryce Young, that team still may be average. But you get the right quarterback and the right college system like Cam Newton, boom, you're a national champion.
Yeah. I would tend to agree with you. I think I could do it easier in college than I could the NFL. To answer your question, though, I'm going to go Jets.
I'm not. I'm going to go Ole Miss.
I'm going to go Jets.
I just don't think
Jets have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Ole Miss is 1-1 too, about the same time.
Yeah, 63-69. You're right.
No, I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Second down.
Better chance of happening. Lane Kiffin gets fired from Ole Miss, or Kiffin wins a playoff game at Ole Miss.
Better chance of happening is to wins a playoff.
Yeah.
And,
especially going to 16 here soon.
That's right.
If that happens.
Yeah. And it'll be one of those where they're either hosting a playoff or more likely on the road in a first-round playoff game. But I think Kiffin I actually think he'll win a playoff game. I don't think, if you did betting odds, will he or will he not win a playoff game? I would bet on Kiffin to win one, actually.
Got to get there, though.
You do. But, I mean, obviously, I think if he can win one, he can get there. I mean, they were very, very close last year.
Well, it would be really difficult for him to ever get fired for on-field, just based on the fact that they've won double-digit games in 3 of the last 4 years. And pre-Kiffin, they really didn't have any success.
I mean, in my lifetime, again, I'm 49, I cannot remember a better consistent run for Ole Miss football.
I can't either.
Maybe the Eli Manning years under David Cutcliffe.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hugh Freeze had nice back-to-back years.
Yeah, but not like this,
no.
I don't think.
Oh, no, 3 10-win season in 4 years. It's cooking pretty good.
Yeah, I just can't remember a better run for Ole Miss.
Yeah, and the door is opening for more playoff teams, so that allows you to get those wins. It was harder when it was 4 teams, nearly impossible when it was 2. But I'll go Kiffin wins one.
Third down.
Kendrick Lamar, 38 years old today. Venus Williams, 45. Ultimately better career, Venus Williams or Kendrick Lamar?
Venus underrated on what she did. I mean,
Do you think the sister put her in the?
That's right. If it wasn't for Serena, I think we'd look at Venus Williams differently.
As one of the top 3 or 4 women's players of all time, right?
Well, I think the only reason she wasn't the best female player of her generation was because of her sister.
Right.
Like if Serena had not been born, or if Serena had chosen golf instead of tennis, or if Richard had chosen golf for Serena instead of tennis.
Have y'all seen King Richard?
I have not. Didn't really appeal to me.
So it didn't appeal to me either, and randomly I watched it probably last summer. And the way he actually groomed them was pretty amazing. Did you see it, Melton?
Nope, didn't interest me either.
I'm telling you though, just his method was pretty incredible. It's worth the watch.
And what is it? Is it a lot like Earl Woods?
So but he's pushing both girls, but knowing that it seemed like Venus was getting all the preferential treatment, but knowing that Serena had the most talent. And the way he pushed her from the backside by giving this preferential to Venus.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
And in the end, he basically tells her, it was you all along. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Do you know how many Grand Slam titles she won?
Who, Venus?
Yeah.
I would say 12.
7.
As
singles.
Yeah, but
I'm not counting the doubles. She won a lot more
crazy.
doubles.
But if her sister never played tennis, I wonder how many she would have won.
Yep. She had 14 doubles.
Well, because that was
titles.
a lot with her sister, right? Her and her sister played doubles, and they were.
She spent 11 weeks as the world #1 tennis player, even with Serena in the world.
I mean, it would have been crazy if.
Yeah. AI says she's considered a top 10 to 15, but a lot of people put her in the top 10.
I'd put her in top 10.
Women's
Female?
all time, yeah. Tennis players all time.
I mean, was she as good as Billie Jean King?
Is Billie Jean King top 10?
Oh, Billie Jean King's maybe #1.
Whoa.
I mean, other than Serena.
I would have said Navratilova
in front of
was
Martina?
better.
Yeah, Billie Jean did win a lot, but Martina Navratilova would be in there.
What about Steffi?
Let's see if I can
girl
find
Steffi?
a ranking.
Yeah, Steffi's got to be there. Monica Seles.
Yeah.
I think Seles is going to be the worst one you've named so far.
Chris Everett Lloyd? Is she better than Chris Everett Lloyd?
I think Chris Everett won a lot too. All-time women's tennis player.
So I know Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs.
Yeah,
right?
but that was made for TV, and a lot of people suggest that Bobby Riggs threw that for gambling purposes.
But she got the.
They do.
She got to be in there because she got that spot.
Yeah.
Because she was the #1 player in the world at that time.
Have you never heard that though? You laugh like you had never heard that suggested. I
think it has been suggested, but I just think it's. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, I don't know if it's true, but yeah, I mean, supposedly, there is a urban legend that Bobby Riggs threw that for gambling purposes. Because you could bet on that event. It was on national television.
Was it Worldwide of Sports or Worldwide?
I don't know.
No, the event?
Yeah, it was at the
live in prime time.
It was in the Astrodome, right?
On ABC.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I watched it.
Were you pulling for Billie
Howard
Jean?
Cosell?
Yeah, back then. I know you would pull for Billie Jean now. Did you pull for Billie Jean back then? Because I know James Sr. was like, ain't no way she's going to win this.
I do remember the house being divided. That I think I was, in my house, I was for Hank breaking Babe Ruth's record. I think I was for Billie Jean. Serena, number 1, obviously. Steffi Graf listed at number 2 in this ranking that I'm looking at. Martina, number 3. Chris Evert 4, Martina Hingis 5.
Oh, I forgot about Hingis. Yeah,
Monica Seles 6, Billie Jean 7th.
Okay, I did not know she was top 10. I didn't know she was considered top 10.
Hennon, Justine Hennon is more recent, and Venus 9th on this list.
Wow.
I still think Kendrick clears it in this
one. Oh yeah, I forgot that was the whole discussion. Yeah, I forgot that was the discussion.
I'm going to say
22
no.
Grammy wins and 57 nominations.
I'll take Kendrick. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick Venus.
4th down.
Okay.
She hasn't upset me during halftime ever.
How about this one? Barry Manilow 82. Barry Manilow, Barry Sanders.
I'd go Barry Sanders.
Sadly, I think my first concert was Kiss. My first album of all time, I believe, was Barry Manilow Live, double album.
Well, that's when James Sr. knew you had a problem.
It's double album, right? One double live album of Barry Manilow was not enough.
It was live. It was the whole concert. And I remember I wanted it because Barry Manilow was famous for writing back when commercials had jingles. And he was famous for writing commercial jingles. I Am Stuck on Band-Aid. He
Band-Aid
wrote that.
Stuck on Me? That was a Barry Manilow.
I'm a pepper. You're a pepper.
He wrote that too?
that one. He wrote a bunch of jingles.
Wow. I didn't know that. I know he's won Grammys and won a Tony. And
so he sang that in his concert on this album, and I just thought it was cool when I was a kid to hear those songs in the middle of the live. And I may have had a crush on a girl named Mandy or something. But Barry Sanders is the answer. But Barry Manilow Live.
It's hard to say out loud as a man that Barry Manilow would be better than Barry Sanders. The only argument I can make is the longevity for Barry Manilow. Because 60 plus years, and that's the argument with Barry Sanders. Like, he tapped out way early.
Yeah, what would he have been?
But I would go Barry Sanders, yeah.
I will tell you, Barry Manilow is probably the first time that I understood on American Bandstand. It used to be a show that was on TV that the artists were not singing. He did not seem like he was okay at lip syncing, but he wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And then his songs back then, they would always fade away. And so, at some point you stopped singing and the cameras didn't match up right, and he kept singing in the fade out of the song. But on his live performance, he stopped lip syncing, and I was like, "This is not all matching up here." And that's when I learned that they're not really singing.
That ruined
you
the
guys
Macy's Thanksgiving
know the
Day Parade.
history of some music. A Boy Named Sue was Johnny Cash, right?
Yeah, not one of his better songs.
Was this named after Barry Manilow's partner, Susan Dexler, that he was married to in 1964?
I have no idea.
Nope.
But that wasn't a chick. There's no way he was married to a woman, right?
Who, Barry Manilow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Oh, I didn't think so.
I don't understand what you're asking. But
No,
the boy named Sue was somebody that Cash met in the military, I thought, or in prison. One of
prison,
the two.
I think it was. Yeah,
prison. Yeah,
yeah. Not a good Johnny Cash song.
Oh, my dad loved it.
Oh, he did?
No,
I can't believe he liked that song. I love Johnny Cash now. Love Johnny Cash. But that one is not.
I knew you were going to have to be tough, man, so I named you Sue. So you'd have to fight your way on the playgrounds to the bars, everything, man. It was fantastic. All right, is that it? 4 downs? That's 4?
Yes, that is 4.
That is 4 downs today. The show brought to you today by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about our friends at Michelson.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Make sure you ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with an absolutely hassle-free consultation. You got nothing to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
And let's do the spotlight today. A little college football gets us to the top of the hour.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight today, presented by our guy Alexander Shunnarah, Trial Attorneys, a national firm with Southern roots, headquartered in Birmingham. And I say Birmingham, that's Alexander's home field there. That's where he grew up, and he wanted to create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. They now handle not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Okay, the Pac-12 commissioner is Teresa Gould. Texas State is likely to be the 8th football-playing Pac-12 member. That's the buzz out there right now. They tweeted the other day, whatever the river is out next to them.
San Marcos?
In San Marcos, there's a river or a creek.
It's supposed to be a fun place.
There's some beavers beavers coming to our creek or our neck of the woods, and they thought that was a cryptic message that they were joining the Pac-12 with Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Utah State, and Colorado State.
And Texas State. We had to find another state. Yes.
So those would be your 8 football-playing members that I just named for you there. I mean, Washington State has moments. Oregon State has moments. Boise State's pretty consistent. San Diego State moment. But Teresa Gould says that our Pac-12 football-playing conference will be equal to that in the Big 12 and the ACC.
Oh, she's out of her mind.
Yeah. To find out whether this was actually true, I made a comparison of all 3 conference. Spoiler alert, it's not.
It's not.
Said a poster on Reddit. But they did do the due diligence of strength of record since 2014, college football playoff era. And the Pac-12, as it's going to be, would score a 72.50.
Okay.
Excuse me, 72.63. Their highest ranked team in strength of record would actually be Boise State, would rank in the top 25 at 25.
Yeah, that's not a
with
surprise.
their strength of record. The teams they've beaten, the quality of play.
But your best one only gets you into the top 25.
That's
and
right.
only gets you at 25.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, their next one is Washington State at 43, San Diego State at 64, Oregon State at 68, Fresno at 70, Utah State 72, and Colorado State at 75.
This is a dumb argument.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw odds to make the college football playoff. The longest odds are Washington State this year. And that's including Group 5.
Yeah.
Big 12 or ACC, strength of record since 2014 for the whole conference. And this is the people that are actually in the Big 12 now, actually in the ACC. So you got to take Oklahoma.
So I get Oklahoma,
you got to
Texas
take
out.
Oklahoma and Texas and put them in the SEC.
Okay, but I also have to take on Stanford and Cal's record if I'm in the ACC, which is not great.
You also take on Utah in the Big 12.
I still would take ACC.
I think I would go ACC.
Slightly Big 12.
Okay, but very
better
close.
than the ACC, even though Clemson is number 4 strength of record in the college football playoff era, number 4. Not another ACC team is in the top 25.
How many Big 12s are?
Since 2014. What now?
How many Big 12s are?
More than that, but 27 Miami is the next closest. Florida State is 30th. NC State, Louisville, 34 and 38.
Embarrassing for Florida State.
Yeah.
So Clemson is the only ACC team top 25 strength of record in the playoff era.
In the college football playoff era.
That is stunning. And the fact that Florida State is that far down. Miami is one thing, but Florida State, that's embarrassing.
Just think, Florida State National Championship 2013 before it happened in 2014.
Playoff era,
just has been a lot of meh. Oklahoma State is 14. Utah is 15. Kansas State is 22. TCU is 23. West Virginia is 26.
Wow.
BYU is in the 30s. Baylor's in the 30s. Iowa State's at 42.
You know, Oklahoma State
not a bad football conference.
No.
The Big 12.
14 with an 0 for 9 in conference last year.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you take that away.
Wow. I wonder if they'd be top 10.
Jim, it's. I mean, depending on how you define entertainment, right? You could make an argument the Big 12 is the most entertaining conference. I'm not going to say it's the best, but you can make an argument it's the most entertaining.
I think it is.
Because
it's so unpredictable.
It's so unpredictable. I feel like almost any weekend, any team could beat any team. You don't know who's going to win the conference. You can't even really right now narrow it down to 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah, and you can't even narrow, like if you were to say NFC South, what is more unpredictable, the NFC South or the Big 12? Or the NFC East, who hasn't had a back-to-back winner in 17 years. It's still the Big 12.
It's still the Big 12.
You know, you're only going 4 deep. You've got 6 to 8, maybe even 9 teams this year that could win it.
Yeah.
Big 10, number 2 in strength of record in that time. Ohio State, number 2 overall. Michigan is 8, Oregon 9, Penn State 10, Iowa 11, Wisconsin 12, USC 17, Washington 19, Michigan State 28, on down the list. The SEC is number 1.
Georgia?
By a pretty good margin. Alabama's 1, Georgia's 3, Oklahoma 5, LSU 6, A&M 13, Florida 16, Texas 18, Auburn 20, Ole Miss 21, Tennessee 24. In that time, Mississippi State's been pretty good, 29. Kentucky's been pretty good, 31. Missouri 33, South Carolina 37. Everybody, Arkansas is 49, but everybody but Arkansas and Vandy in the top 40 in the college football playoff era. That's why when Greg Sankey and them say it's different, it's just different in the SEC.
Pretty impressive that Auburn is 20 based on Harsin and Freeze.
I know.
What all did Malzahn? I thought Malzahn was 5 losses every year.
Yeah, 4 loss guys is what we called him, right?
Yeah, strength of record, though, that gets you to the 8 wins every year, got you to number 20 during that time.
I mean, again, I hate to keep pouncing on them with both feet, but Florida State and Kentucky are in the same spot. That is...
Yep. Notre Dame 7th, by the way, in that period of time.
Florida State has scheduled the wrong opener for them this year.
Who has?
Florida State.
Yeah.
You don't like them playing Alabama to start the year?
No, I think this is a bad way to start their season.
Hats off to Mysterious Edge 5643 for doing the math on all that and posting that on Reddit. Mysterious Edge 5643. Good follow there. And it looks to be like he's got a lot of posts when it comes to college football.
Watch out when him and Sliced Bread start doing a podcast together.
Their podcast, Mysterious Edge and Sliced Bread.
Good content there, though. I love that numerical breakdown from him. Very Ben Conley-esque. Mysterious Edge. You should look at ESPN. Maybe do a little work with Bill Connelly over there. That would be a wonderful meshing of minds. 1 more hour to go. The show being brought to you by Gutter Cap today. Clean that gutter one last time. Get it capped by Gutter Cap.
Yeah, dirty, dangerous job. Last thing you want to do is get the ladder out. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Right now, incredible deal from Gutter Cap of Birmingham. Call Chris Stewart. Get the absolutely free estimate. 205-823-2212. Cap it. Don't snap it. Gutter Cap is a patent aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutters. It will keep all the debris out. Only rainwater will be let in. Keep the gutters clean and free flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Still so much to get to in this final hour of the show that includes a little conversation about lopsided rivalries in college football. I gave that to Taylor as a tease this morning that she sends out every morning. And she always loves the either late night or 6 a.m. text when I'm throwing topics at her to put in that thing. And I just came across on one of the people I follow on Instagram some of the lopsided rivalries out there. And I said, let me jump into this. It'd be a good conversation. So we'll get into that coming up this final hour of the show. LT, Brownie, I'm Jim Dunaway, along with Forrester and EG, who are in Tuscaloosa working on some stuff that'll be on our platform with Alabama football. That's Melton, who's doing what Tyler usually does, and that's Tyler doing what Forrester usually does. And our no social media camera position with Taylor Korn, who's doing what she always does. Remember, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Set your automatic downloads for podcasts on Apple and Spotify, and we'll get to all this college football content after I tell you about our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Good country down-home food. I wish we had Keith Jackson cutting a Champy's commercial. I bet Sterling would love that. Oh, the ball's in the air, and so too are those brined overnight chicken fingers right there.
How about them po' boys, Keith? How about them po' boys?
Thank you, Frank. Coach
I used to
Broyles?
love Coach Broyles.
Yeah.
High football, Keith.
Yeah, I wonder what they were like night before the game.
Oh, you think they got a belt on?
I bet they did. That great tailgating food at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and check them out today for lunch or dinner or happy hour. Nobody like them right there. Sterling and the guys for over a decade right there in Alabaster. It's Champy's world famous fried chicken. Before we get into the lopsided rivalry discussion, another one of the things I follow on Instagram is Matchup Tracker. And they just put out today Steve Spurrier's record against all the SEC teams that were in the SEC when he was there. Of all the SEC teams when he was there, who gave him the most losses in his time when he was at Florida?
I would guess Gene Stallings in Alabama.
I would guess Alabama, too, because Tennessee never seemed to break through. I know they did in 98.
And I think he largely owned the cocktail party, didn't he?
He
was there because he was going against Ray Goff. And
1990 to 2001, his Florida Gators. Take out the South Carolina years. Tennessee is your answer?
No, Alabama.
I would say 3 or 4 Alabama losses.
Okay, it is Tennessee.
Really?
8-4. He was 8-4 against the Tennessee Volunteers.
Okay.
He was Alabama and Auburn were next. He was 6-3 against Alabama. He was 10-3 against Auburn. Cocktail party, 11-1.
Yeah, I knew he dominated. I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, same winning percentage against Alabama and Tennessee.
Yeah, but 4 Tennessee wins along the way there.
So Alabama's only wins over him were the 92 SEC championship game and then both wins in 99 by, of all people, Mike DeBose. Wow, I thought Stallings, and now that I think back on it, Stallings, I guess that was his only win against Spurrier was 92 championship game.
Lost to him in 94.
And then again in 95.
93, 94.
That was a coaching mismatch back then.
Yeah, it was. Well, 94, Stallings made one of his biggest coaching errors of his time at Alabama that cost them a chance to win that game.
Not going for 2.
Not going for 2 after the Dwayne Rudd interception return.
And if they do win that game, do they not play for the national championship?
I think so, Lance. I'm trying to remember how everything shook out. You keep in mind that's back when people were going to all these different bowl games, so I don't know.
Those were some fun SEC championship games.
Spurrier 12-0 against Kentucky, 10-0 against Vandy, 10-0 against South Carolina, 2-0 against Ole Miss, 3-0 against Arkansas, 11-1 against LSU, 4-2 against Mississippi State.
Very, very Saban-like on these winning percentages.
Yeah,
That's why it was so amazing that Kirby was already viewed like Spurrier wasn't even on the same page when we had that graphic last week.
6 SEC titles, 861 winning percentage when he was at Florida.
I'll never forget when he dominated Vandy, obviously, but when they were going to Vandy and people were asking about running the score up and Vandy fans said they were going to boo, and he goes, hey, the more they boo, the more I'm going to throw it. And the way that game turned out, though, is Florida had to fight for a win. Like, he didn't get to run it up. Vandy played him hard, and it seems like Florida scored late to secure the victory or something like that.
Yeah. Let's talk about rivalries. I just gave you a little bit of history there. I just AI searched extremely lopsided college football rivalries. First one that pops up, most everybody here doesn't consider it a rivalry.
Bedlam?
Alabama, Mississippi State.
Oh, it's not.
Alabama, Mississippi State's
not a rivalry.
Just because you play every year does not make it a rivalry.
Don't even play every year anymore. 84, 18-3 all time.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah.
There's never been a time where State's program.
I mean, let's not forget they were the number 1 team in the nation, and Alabama was a double-digit favorite at home.
Yeah. I can't think of a time where State's program has been better than Alabama's ever.
Ever.
In my lifetime, anyway. Yeah. Maybe you can make an argument Sly Kroom that 1 year, though, but that was 1 year.
Maybe 2 years with Jackie Sherrill.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, but consistently, no.
Yeah. Next on the list was Bedlam, Oklahoma State.
Not even a rivalry.
91-20-7 with an 806 winning percentage.
Just because you're in the same state and you play every year again doesn't make it a rivalry.
Yeah, but people do get excited before the game kicks off. That's all I would say.
They don't do that
They're
with Bama.
in state. No, they don't do it with Mississippi. Not even Mississippi State fans.
Yeah.
No. Can we cover today? Can we keep it within 21.5?
Tennessee and Kentucky. Eventually, they will not play every year. Tennessee leads the series 84-26-9. 26-game win streak from 85 to 2010 for the Volunteers.
It's a trophy game. They play for what they used to call the beer barrel. There was an issue that they no longer play for that, I guess. Or was it the bourbon barrel?
It was the beer barrel. Never made sense to me.
The beer barrel? Why would it not be the bourbon barrel?
Should have been bourbon.
Why did they cancel the
There
beer
was
barrel?
drunk driving
incident.
killed people.
Yep, and people lost their life, and they didn't feel like they wanted the name to be on there. But that's, again, I mean, just because you play every year, you're a neighboring state, and you have a trophy doesn't make it a rivalry. That's not a rivalry.
And this is why, since we went to on this list,
Vandy?
Tennessee and Vandy, 81, 33, and 5 all time.
I was about to say the only rivalry we've had semi is Oklahoma State is Sin State. Now I'm going to contradict myself because this is not a rivalry.
No, it is not. Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Tennessee's rivals are not within the state of Tennessee or connecting.
I mean, what is that record, by the way?
For the
Tennessee over Vanderbilt.
It is 81, 33, and 5.
I would have thought it was worse.
Surprised at 33.
Yeah, Vandy used to be better back early in the SEC days.
Pre-World War II.
Washington State, the Apple Cup, 76, 34, and 6 in favor of the Huskies.
Yeah,
but a fun game.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've always kind of liked that game.
I like it more than anything you've mentioned yet.
Yeah,
like I'd watch an Apple Cup over Bama, Mississippi State normally, over Tennessee, Kentucky, over Tennessee, Vandy.
I mean, we had an Apple Cup 2 years ago that if there's not a conversion on a fourth down, there's a chance that Kalen DeBoer's not the Alabama coach. I know that sounds crazy, but without that, Washington doesn't go to the college football playoff. Therefore, they don't play for a national championship, and he's probably off the radar.
Yeah. And by the way, last year's Apple Cup was terrific. Neutral site game up in Seattle.
Oh, the last two have been.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech beat Georgia last year, but in our lifetime since 1970, it's 41-12.
Yeah. Clean old-fashioned hate or good old-fashioned hate?
Good old-fashioned hate.
Good old-fashioned hate?
Yep.
It seems like a rivalry, but it never plays out that way.
Yeah, I mean, last year's game is as good a Georgia Tech game as I can remember. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, that was thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah, very, very entertaining on Black Friday.
Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of that.
But that has never been – that game gets badly lost on Rivalry Saturday, unfortunately for them.
When I was a kid in the 70s, it got some play. It got some airtime. Because they would do Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday because of Thanksgiving weekend.
Right.
On that rivalry weekend, and ABC would, the Border Wars, they would make a big deal promoting Thursday night was Texas A&M, and then on Friday you'd get a couple of games like Georgia Tech, and then Saturday you'd have a triple header or a double header. You rarely got that kind of stuff back then.
You know, I've always said, Lance, that being the Georgia coach, one difficult thing about it, now Kirby has been okay with this, obviously, but one difficult thing about it is you do have a lot of rivalry games. Like when Georgia and Clemson play, it's kind of a rivalry game there, and they're renewing that rivalry soon. Georgia-Tennessee has become a big rivalry, big border war game. Cocktail party is obviously huge.
Kirby has smoked all these rivalries.
Oh, he has.
They're just not even fun anymore.
Yeah, he has. But being the Georgia coach back in the day, you used to play a lot of these rivalry games. And then Georgia Tech, to me, the point I was going to make is well down that list of games that matter to me as a neutral observer.
Their biggest rival, and this is going to contradict again what we're talking about, is Alabama right now. But he can't beat Alabama.
And they don't play every year.
But that's a game that Georgia fans have to get the most excited about.
Some more from Elite College Football on Instagram. A 28-win advantage for North Carolina over NC State. A 29-win advantage for Clemson over South Carolina.
That one's probably about as even as it's been over the last 10 or 15 years because South Carolina was such a bad program.
But Steve owned Dabo.
That's what I'm talking about. Over the last 10 or 15 years. I'm saying we're living in probably the most even time of the Clemson-South Carolina rivalry. We're viewing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Spurrier almost got Dabo fired.
Yeah.
57, 27, and 5. A 30-win advantage for Alabama over LSU.
You know, that really wasn't what I would consider a rivalry until Saban and Les Miles. It was an annual game. It really wasn't a rivalry until it had the West meaning and really the national championship.
I do think it is one of the better rivalries in college football.
Yeah,
right now.
But it is a new money rivalry. There's no doubt about it.
I think.
Now, I will say this real quick. I'm sorry, Jim. Didn't mean to interrupt you. If you ask Alabama fans who's your biggest rival, LSU is down the list for just about all of them. If you ask LSU fans who's your biggest rival, I bet you Alabama wins the vote. And that's what's weird about that one.
I think Taylor comes from a divided household in the state of Michigan. I think Gina Corn's Michigan State.
Okay.
Michigan leads Michigan State by 36, 74, 38, and 5.
I remember one game from that rivalry. and one game only.
And the one we cried
Do you know what the game?
Punt through the hands?
Yeah, that's the only game I remember.
Well,
from
I
that
remember
rivalry.
Mike Hart coming out and calling him little brother, and then Mark D'Antonio just dominated him.
Yeah, the other one I do remember now that you bring that up was the year that made Mel Tucker all the money, and Michigan could not stop. Who was the good running back they had? I can't say his name.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker, and Michigan could not stop.
And you
him.
know who Michigan State's quarterback was?
Kirk Cousins.
No, it was our guy Peyton Thorne.
Peyton Thorne.
Yeah.
Peyton Thorne.
Yeah.
And then the one we cried about for a decade.
You cried about it?
We all did.
I did?
We all did.
What I cry about?
40-win advantage. Texas over Texas A&M. 77-37-5.
Well, I tell you, the renewal wasn't what I wanted it to be. I was so fired up about the renewal.
Complete dud.
I mean, could not have been a worse game.
Complete
It really
dud.
was. It was just awful.
God, we wanted it so
I got
bad.
so fired up. I didn't even go to the Iron Bowl. Not that it was going to be a great Iron Bowl, but I didn't go to the Iron Bowl just so I could stay home.
Well, we had circled it saying, you know what's going to
Yeah.
happen here? Texas is going to have everything on the line, and A&M's going to beat them. And everything lined up perfectly.
Just like it. And then A&M laid a complete egg at home.
All right, so that gets us to some more college athletics after those lopsided rivalries. Brought to you today by our friends at Odie's. Just a wonderful place to swing by and hear some live music. Catch these guys with trivia on Wednesday night.
College World Series action, Game 6, Stanley Cup Finals. You're looking for a place to watch. You can do it. Odie's Tavern, 2 locations, the original Crestline, the one we will be at tomorrow night for Odie's Team Trivia, the newest location in Edgewood, corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy those Odie's Famous Cup cocktails, the great food from Rodney Davis. Birmingham Institution is Odie's Tavern.
By the way, Alabama has their 30th school president. He's the executive vice president of The Ohio State University. Peter Moeller is coming in to take over the presidency at the University of Alabama.
Hey, did you see the story, the old boy that left Michigan to be the president at Florida? Did you see what happened there?
I didn't read them. I saw some headlines.
All right, old boy's president at the University of Michigan. You'd say that's probably a pretty good gig, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would ask why you're leaving.
I would too.
Yep.
And maybe here's an indicator of while he was leaving. So he leaves Michigan. Now, I don't know how this works. Like, I assume he gives his job up and he tells Michigan, this is my 2-week notice, I'm out of here. He leaves Michigan, but the Florida Board of Trustees have to vote on him, and they vote him down, which...
So he's in the air, he gets a text.
Yeah. It's,
hey,
by the way,
it's this.
Yeah, bad news. Yeah. It's just the yellow thumbs down.
Yeah, I've had that flight before. I went somewhere thinking I had one job and was on the way back and didn't end up having it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
that's one of those you got to get it confirmed.
Yeah, I would let them have the vote before I quit Michigan, unless Michigan is like, the old Bo Schembechler
Hey,
days.
and why would he get voted down?
I don't know. That's what Dunaway was like. I question why you're leaving Michigan. I wonder if something got to the Board of Trustees. Like, oh, by the way, there's a reason he's getting out of Ann Arbor. Y'all may want to vote no. But I don't know if, Dunaway, even if you wait till it's confirmed, can you go back to a job like that? Like, oh, by the way, I'm quitting. I'm heading to Florida. It's been great work with you guys. Do you have to come back and say, oh, they voted me down. I'm back. I love you guys.
Yeah.
I never wanted to. I'm not going to leave.
April Fools.
Yeah, I'm back.
You told us about Odie's,
Yeah,
right?
you did.
We did that.
We
Okay.
did.
So here is, if you can give me cut number 3, Melton. Jake Dickert was the head coach last year at Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
He left to go to Wake Forest to show you, the Pac-12, the situation they're going to be in moving forward. His quarterback, John Mateer, and Ben Arbuckle, his offensive coordinator, left Washington State as well. They're at Oklahoma. Here's Jake Dickert on Conor O'Gara's podcast, Saturday Down South. Go listen to the whole interview. This guy's engaging, and he says a lot of great things about John Mateer, things you'll need to know for the upcoming SEC season so that you're a smart Southeastern Conference football fan on what Oklahoma got in a quarterback. But here's his former coach on what the Sooners have now under center, talking to Conor O'Gara. Here's Jake Dickert.
John Mateer, and you can quote me on this, Connor, is the best player in college football. I believe that. And he's going to go out there and prove it again. I got to see Josh do it. Cam did it in his own unique style with an incredible competitive flair. And John is just the ultra competitor, blue collar, small town, chip on the shoulder guy that continues to get better with every challenge. So it's been unique just to see those 3 guys create elite success for themselves, but also do it in their own specific and different ways. He's one of the best athletes. I believe that. And I've always comped him to Bo Nix. I always have. And Bo Nix, when he was at Auburn, transformed his game when he went to Oregon, right? So that's what I think you're going to see in the next iteration of John. And, just cool to be part of his journey.
Little drive-by on Gus there.
Yeah, but don't let it slip by you that Dickert has been part of Josh Allen. If you're listening and didn't see that.
Mateer, much better college quarterback.
Josh Allen, Cam Ward, and Mateer, and he's saying Mateer is going to be the best athlete in college football.
I think it translates. Look, SEC fans are the proudest fan base out there.
Okay.
They are the most arrogant fan base. There is a reason because of all the success. But you hear SEC fans that are saying this kid from Washington State, from Pullman's not going to be able to come into this conference and be able to put up big numbers. I disagree. I think it's one of the reasons. If Oklahoma had a more beneficial schedule, they would be a major player, and they still might be. But I think this Mateer-Arbuckle marriage is going to be great for Venables.
I mean, we'll learn. Michigan, you still believe in their defense, right? Now, I know that interior defensive line, a lot of it is in the NFL right now.
Oklahoma's going to win that game, though.
Well, I was just going to say, that's his first real test, week 2. You're going to see that under the lights, 6:30 ABC. As Michigan comes to town. And Michigan, I don't know what they'll be with Bryce Underwood offensively, but
Kirk, what does Oklahoma have in John Mateer? And then Herb Street's going to rant about that.
He's going to tell you. Yeah, he's going to show you all that Washington State film.
Is it in Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's at Gaylord Family. That's a tough spot for Michigan, but that defense travels, and that'll be Mateer's first big test because they play Illinois State week 1. I mean, he'll put up a bunch of numbers there.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma, Auburn fans aren't going to like this. Auburn is going to be improved, though. And that's going to be the Jackson Arnold Mateer game.
That's right.
But I think they open 5-0 before they play Texas. And how hyped up is that game going to be?
Well, because Texas,
is
if
already
they
going to
beat
have a loss.
Ohio State, will be undefeated, but who knows? Yeah, Oklahoma could be the undefeated team of the two in that one.
Our friends at Way to Wellness gets us to our final college football story in this segment, and it's about Jake Garcia. I want to make a point about him. But our friends at Way to Wellness can make a point about weight loss with you. Maybe you've been thinking about this for a long, long time. Like, God, I just can't get started. I just can't jumpstart my weight loss. Well, now's the time here as we hit summer on Friday in 2025. Planforme.com, Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team can help you out, whether it's injection therapy, meal replacements, some protein bars to tie you over between meals, a variety of other different ways she can help you, her and her team, lose weight. You can do that. Find out what they offer you and how everything's designed specifically for you by going to the website at planforme.com and getting a free, no-cost consultation with Leslie. No contract, no sign-up fees in that free consultation. Planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Jake Garcia has signed on to Michigan, and he's going to be the backup probably to Bryce Underwood. That's the hope. Last year at East Carolina, 1,426 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But it's more about Jake Garcia's journey than it is anything.
It's a wild one.
He's got some miles.
Yeah.
Miami, Missouri, East Carolina, Michigan now. 4 colleges in 4 years. But if you go back to his high school days, he has now gone to 9 different schools in 8 years.
Right.
Because that one extra year was a COVID year where California didn't play football, and he left his high school and went to Georgia and played immediately. So
for who? Do you remember?
For our boy
Rush Probst.
Yeah.
You remember that was the one where the family had to have a divorce.
That's right.
The mom and dad had to legally separate so that the state of Georgia could rule out
high school football. Let's do it.
Of course, Rush Probst is right in the middle of a story where a mom and dad have to legally separate. So
let me tell you how this works. I've been down this path.
So you don't even need a divorce attorney.
So here's a kid that in 8 years has been at 9 different schools.
It's a lot of different OCs, by the way.
Yeah. That's a lot of different playbooks and no roots at all.
By the way, very, very overrated coming out of high school and never lived up to the potential, I guess because of the experience and maybe a great locker room guy. One of the reasons that Sharon Moore went out and got him.
I don't understand what you're getting in him. I guess it tells you a little bit about the backup situation.
And that's a scary thing. Like, first of all, Underwood is a true freshman. If he struggles, I guess they'll just let him play through it. But if he does get injured, if Jake Garcia is your guy and Shunnarah Moore in year 2, coming off 5 losses, it's dicey.
Congratulations to the Texas Longhorns. They win the Athletic Directors Cup, the Directors Cup. Remember when we used to do this every year and it was always Stanford?
Yep.
What, at Sears back in the day?
Yeah, the Sears Trophy. I think Stanford and Florida both did well every year.
Florida never won it overall.
But they were always in the hunt.
Good in the SEC. It started in the 93-94 academic athletic year. Stanford won it 25 straight years.
Well, now I know why, because you told us the other day that Stanford's got 36 sports.
Yep, that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
Stanford has won it 26 times, the first 25. Texas has now won it 4 times, 3 of the last 4. North Carolina's won it once. Those are the only people ever to win it.
Yeah.
If you want to know the ones that play the most sports.
So it's an overvalued trophy, basically.
Stanford, Texas, and North Carolina.
Yeah. So it's overvalued. It's just basically a volume trophy. I play a lot of sports.
USC finished 2nd this year, Stanford 3rd, and Stanford, I can't think of anything they did great in. I can't think of anything USC did great in except women's basketball.
Well, Stanford fired their football coach. They hired Andrew Luck. Their athletic director left.
USC pretty good at volleyball and swimming.
Men's swimming and diving national champions for Texas. Softball national championship. Football was in the final 3. They had good years in women's basketball and men's basketball, sort of a good year, but they're the Directors' Cup champions there, so which means they won it in the SEC too.
It's hard to do. Yeah. It just means more.
The Commissioner's Cup or whatever we call that. All right, when we come back, Alex Scarborough, if you're an Alabama football fan, go read Alex Scarborough's latest story. It's some records that are impressive that may never be broken in Alabama football history. We'll talk about a couple of those. And I don't know, he'll never be anybody's favorite new basketball coach, but boy, there's a lot to like about Will Wade. I'll tell you what that is in our next segment. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemphill LT, just at your house.
Yep, over there yesterday, fixing a plumbing issue. If plumbing, heating, cooling, any of this arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. but it's only here for a limited time. So try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the Next Round. If you've listened to our show for almost 16 years, you know I occasionally like the little bit of the a-hole in people. I love Tony. That didn't come out right. I like people who are.
That actually did come out right.
What do you mean?
That was a joke.
What do you mean? I would say I like the Tony Stewarts of the world. I like people who make sports interesting.
Bubba Watson.
Yeah, so I sort of like Will Wade in this version of him at NC State. I sort of like this about him. Will Wade, they got a guy named Vin Allen Lubin from North Carolina who went to NC State. He averaged 19 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds. And now he's coming to NC State, to where Will Wade says the other school was too dumb to play him. We're not going to be that dumb. We're going to play him. So here's NC State's new coach, Will Wade, saying that Hubert Davis and North Carolina too dumb to play this guy. And then he goes into details. When he played 23 plus minutes, he averaged 28 plus minutes in a game. He did it 23 times. He averaged 15 and 8. I'm going to be smart enough to play him at least 28 minutes in the game, so he's going to go 15 and 8 for us. Why would you not play this guy more? They were too dumb to play him. I love that in a rivalry.
I do too, and I mean, I don't know how often this has happened in the history of the two programs, but NC State's got the better basketball coach than North Carolina right now. So,
but I agree with you, but the more accomplished coach is Hubert Davis.
I mean, he's been to one Final Four.
It's hard to get there, but
it is hard to get there. But I mean, who's the better coach? If you were starting a program today,
Will Wade 100%. But like, there's a better chance Will Wade never gets to a Final Four.
I cannot remember who the NC State coach was during the Matt Doherty days at UNC. It might have been Mark Godfrey, but I really can't remember. That was probably a time where NC State had a better coach than North Carolina, but it does not happen often.
Of course, I say that Will Wade won't get there. They were just in a Final Four 2 years ago.
With the guy they fired to hire Will Wade.
Yeah. I do think Will Wade's a hell of a coach. My whole thing on Allen Lubin, he better be good. I mean, really.
Because he said he's now laid this down.
Yeah, boy, that's a lot of pressure to put on that kid, too.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think of it from those terms. I thought of it from the shot at Carolina. But you're right. You've put a lot of pressure on Lubin.
But he gets paid now, so, you know.
I'm fascinated to see what Will Wade can flat coach to see what he does at NC State. If he can,
and how good is that job?
Yeah, if he can consistently revive that program. I mean, if Wade can't win there, I'm kind of like Lance. I don't know how good the job really is.
What is a better job, LSU or NC State basketball?
You would offhand say NC State, though LSU has also been to 2 Final Fours.
Yeah.
John Brady took them to a Final Four.
Yeah, Brady. I know Dale Brown was there in 86.
It might be 3. They may have been to 3 Final Fours.
They just seem like NC State at times seems like they've overachieved. Maybe it's just that one championship, and LSU has always underachieved.
But NC State was there with Valvano, yes, but then the guy in the 70s.
God, what is his name?
It wasn't Ford, was it?
No, Phil Ford was Carolina. Why can I not say his name? The guy that was before Jim Valvano.
Yeah.
But yes.
No, I'm talking about the guard. He was on Thompson.
Michael Thompson. But I'm trying to think of the coach.
Yeah, I don't remember the coach, but
yeah, Michael Thompson's who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was on the cover of a Sports Illustrated. They were in the Final Four in the 70s, so they've been a couple of times too. Probably pretty close.
Yeah, probably.
I think given the two, like if you said you can have NC State or LSU, I think I'd take the NC State job.
Well, I think there's more passion for that. I mean, if
we were so stupid.
Why?
NC State was there when Alabama was there in the Final Four.
Oh, that's what we just said.
But they fired that guy.
Yeah, I was just sitting here in my head going, God, have they been since Valvano? And I was like, I watched that game.
Yeah, Jim, you were there.
You tweeted about it, Jim.
I know NC State's pretty good at baseball, too, and Dave Doran's had a solid program, but NC State seems like more basketball school.
Yeah.
So there would be more passion.
Well, when Mark Godfrey was there, I mean, they have good crowds. They have a pretty cool arena. They play at the professional arena, right?
The Wolf is way too big on the logo, though.
It is, but it is a big arena, and I think they fill it up pretty good.
And that Wolf, when it's that big, looks a little like a Disney character, like a Goofy.
A little bit, yeah. Norm Sloan was the guy I was trying to think of because he eventually went to Florida. But he was the NC State coach that took him to the Final Four with David Thompson.
In the 70s?
Yeah, he was at NC State for quite a while, actually, Norm Sloan was.
Do you have that year? Was it 74, 75, 76, somewhere around there?
NCAA, they won the whole thing in 74. They didn't just go to a Final Four. They hung a banner.
Wow.
Yeah, Norm Sloan was good there. Norm Sloan at NC State. That's weird. I did not realize this. He had been to Florida, took the NC State job, and then went back to Florida. Norm Sloan. That's kind of hard to do, it would seem. 266 and 127. Won an NCAA national championship in the 1 year he was there.
This is when Wimp would say, you knuckleheads don't know nothing about basketball. Of course, Norm Sloan was good.
Well, they were also, and I'll tell you, this may be why Norm Sloan was good, they were ineligible the year before they won the national championship and went 27-0. So he had a run there where they were the best team in college basketball during the John Wooden era.
I will not bore you with all the details at Bama 24/7. Great read from Alex Scarborough today, going through some records he doesn't think will ever be broken. You don't play football the same way anymore, but at Legion Field, November 3rd, 1973, Alabama in one game rushed for 748 yards against Virginia Tech.
Will never be broken.
I would have to say the way football is played today, you're not going to break that. I don't think Army or
Taysom
Navy.
Hill got Manny Diaz fired at Texas for rushing for like 300 yards for BYU.
Yeah.
And that seemed crazy.
77-6, the final score in that game. 10 rushing touchdowns in the game.
What,
Second all-time behind 11 touchdowns by Delta State.
Can't really call it running the game up.
No,
All they do was running the football.
Sounds
right?
like they were trying to be nice to him.
Fewest pass attempts in a game. Alabama ran against Georgia Tech in 40, and then against Georgia Tech in 1953, they passed the ball one time, and both times Alabama won. That's a record.
It's not even Academy-like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
really not.
true. They pass it more.
I don't remember this, but Alabama in 1993 only ran 33 plays against Arkansas. You think Gene Stallings' style of football was different?
Wait, what year was that? 93?
Trying to remember that game. So 92 was the first time Bama played Arkansas in an SEC game. That was in Little Rock.
That's
Bill
right.
Clinton was there.
So then it was back in Tuscaloosa.
I don't remember that game at all. I remember Arkansas beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but I think that was like 95, if memory serves. Boy, I don't remember that game. They only ran 33 offensive plays?
33 offensive plays.
How is that possible? I mean, I know Gene Stallings had the worst offenses to watch, but how is that possible?
A lot of slow, methodical football.
What do you think the final was in that game?
Gene Stallings, I'm going to guess. My default guess is always 17-7.
17-3.
I mean, I'm
17-7.
looking here. Most plays in a quarter for an NFL team. 4 teams have done it. Have run 35 plays in a quarter in the NFL.
Well, I guarantee you somebody was at it in the chat room.
Wait a minute. Alabama won this game 43-3. I mean, Arkansas must have had 8 jillion turnovers. How do you win a game 43-3 and you only run 33 offensive plays?
Yeah. What is the fewest plays Alabama's ever run in a game? The answer is 33 in wins over Texas A&M and 42 in Arkansas in 1993. I trust Alex's reporting here.
I mean, Alex is excellent at what he does. I'm just saying I don't know how that even worked.
Last one here. Most passing yards in a game. Bryce Young against Arkansas 2021.
Arkansas appears a lot of these.
559 yards. He was 31 of 40.
I'm not going to say that will never be broken again.
I think if you'll go look, Bryce Young's day in Tennessee, you were there. You were there, too. The day they rushed the field was probably the best quarterback performance an Alabama quarterback's ever had.
2022, he kept getting late hit all the time with no calls.
What was his final numbers?
Oh, my gosh. They were astronomical. Obviously, they weren't as good as against Arkansas.
I mean, if Gibbs could catch a football, right?
Well, they would have won the game probably. Y'all don't remember how good he was in that game?
I remember he's really good. I just don't remember the numbers being
Well, I mean, they lost the game, so it's probably not going to go
down. But it was
like
a 42-39 final, wasn't it?
The final was 52-49.
It's a lot of
Bryce
points.
Young was 35 of 52, 455, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
In a game where they had to have every yard of the 455, and even that wasn't enough.
Second most passing yards in a game does not belong to Bryce Young. To show you how long the record lasted from Alex Scarborough and the records at Alabama, Bryce holds the record from 2021. Second most, 484 yards, Scott Hunter against Auburn in 1969.
And that was in a loss?
69 probably was a loss.
Yeah.
Yep, to Pat Sullivan and Terry Beasley, because Sullivan won the Heisman in 70.
Yeah.
Different times.
Different times then.
Yep. Longest field goal all time, Van Tiffen, 57 against Texas A&M in 85.
That will get beat.
57?
Oh, you think so?
I think so, too.
The haul of a kick.
Wasn't the kick six lined up to be more than 57?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It was a little bit short, though.
Yeah, came up a little short.
Probably should have punted.
Van Tiffen kicking off of a kicking tee. Everyone else has not been doing that since. Breakline gets us to trash today. Our friends at Breakline Optics, man, it is everywhere. You look for great sunglasses at an affordable price. You see these great looks that are about to pop up here on our screen in a second. Just wonderful folks there at Breakline.
And I know you're like me. You don't want to go be buying sunglasses a lot, but they break. They fall apart. Not Breakline, man. These things are as tough as they come. They've got these cast-molded polarized Trivex lenses. Now, you say, I don't know what any of that means, Brown. Why are you telling me that? You can literally take a hammer. I've seen them do it to these lenses and cannot break them. That's how good they are. They're high impact. They're scratch resistant. They got a lifetime warranty against manufacturer defects. 100% American-based reliable customer support as well. So in the event you do run into trouble, you're dealing with 100% American-based customer support. BreaklineOptics.com is the website. BreaklineOptics.com. Now, these are local guys, a national company, but it's based right here in Birmingham. You can see them for yourself at Deep South Outfitters. If you want to lay a hand on them, touch them, try them on, Deep South Outfitters. But you can order anywhere. BreaklineOptics.com. BreaklineOptics.com.
Sandra, how far has this family come?
We came from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Such a funny moment.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Whether you're heading to the beach or lake this weekend, pick up some cold, delicious Bud Light. Now, the closest living relatives of an 84-year-old BC widow who left her $1 million estate to a much younger, quote, professional companion and male escort has been given the go-ahead to challenge the will, according to a recently published court ruling. Janet Henry executed her final will and testament in August of 2021, 3 months before she died, leaving the, quote, bulk of her estate to a man named Simon Garston. Now, Jillian and Ross McCrone, Henry's niece and nephew, are seeking to have the will overturned, which would open the door for them to potentially inherit the money. Quote, the thrust of the plaintiff's claim is the deceased was subjected to undue influence by Mr. Garston, a decision handed down in BC Supreme Court on June 12th explained. Presumption of undue influence is established when the nature of the relationship between the parties demonstrates the potential for domination. To rebut the presumption, the deceased must be shown to have prepared his or her will of his or her own full, free, and informed thought.
I'm going to call, I'll go ahead and call this one's going to end up being a hung jury.
Oh.
Now, the decision explained that Henry had no children and her husband died 17 years before she did. Speaking of which, that was an underrated show on HBO, Hung with Thomas Jane.
Never saw it.
You guys ever see it?
Never saw it.
Yeah.
I agree, underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it. Maggie enjoyed it, though. She watched
it was good. Quote, following her husband's death, the deceased apparently enjoyed retaining and paying for the services of various male escorts for the purpose of companionship and sexual services. Now, Henry and Garston met online via Skype in February of 2021 and in person for the first time in April. The decision said over the next 6 months, pair had a number of, quote, overnight visits, meeting in person for the last time when Garston stayed at Henry's home for 3 nights in October. The, quote, sexual and companionship services Mr. Garston provided were paid for by the deceased at an agreed-upon price, which was not insignificant, according to the decision. So I guess it comes down to he did influence. Her last will and testament was to give it to him. I don't know. Where do you guys fall on this?
Turnabout's fair play, Lance.
But where do you guys fall on this? I mean, I want to know how good the niece and nephew were. Were they active in her life? Were they coming around?
Well, I mean, was she of right, sound, and mind? I mean, was she still making
enough to
sense?
bang and to have to actually have deals and be able to I don't know, have a transactional relationship?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't holding a gun to her head, so to speak.
So to speak.
So to speak.
Yes, play of words.
I don't know. Like, if I'm the niece or nephew and I have been busting my ass and she was a big part of my life and I truly, was doing this not for monetary reasons and just because she was hooking up with this dude, I'd be a little upset.
Well, you're allowed to be upset, but it doesn't mean legally you have a right to that money.
Yeah.
No, I mean, apparently they're saying legally there is a possible right to that money.
Yeah, I mean, the question I'm sure with these cases all come down to is, was she of right mind at some point? At some point they're going to try to prove that she made some decisions near the end of her life that made it look like she was maybe hooking up with a prostitute.
Yeah. if Mr. Garston wasn't a night walker, if he was a gardener that they had met at some local club, I bet he gets the money. I bet because of the transactional relationship, I bet the niece and nephew get the money. That's where I fall.
It depends. I don't know if you said this in the story. I may have missed it. Is she in a state where prostitution is legal?
I don't think there are any states in America. Now, this is in B.C., so British Columbia, maybe it is.
Oh.
Actually, I think it is.
Well, it is in Vegas.
I think it is in certain
counties.
I don't think it.
Across
I don't think
the
there's
board
anywhere in
Vegas?
America where it's legal, but I think in Canada it is.
Like just straight.
Oh yeah, like brothels.
Yeah.
And,
Well, there's prostitution legal in some parts of Nevada. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
like,
but
as he
it's
said,
outside of Vegas,
It's
so.
it's in the rural county where you've got to go out. It's not like they have like set up brothels.
Yeah. If I remember the HBO show.
I mean, I went to a dispensary and there was a waiting line. If they had set up brothels there, I can't even imagine what that would look like.
Well, it would look like Deadwood.
Probably so. During the first 5 months of this year, 72-year-old Florida man has placed 3,400 calls to 911, pushing his 5-year total to 16,000 calls to the police emergency line. If Tiger makes it to 75.
That's not Chunky Tiger. That's just old Tiger.
Police last week responded to a 911 call claiming that someone was shooting an AR-15 rifle in the roadway outside of a St. Petersburg house. When officers arrived at the home, they discovered a family barbecue with, quote, small children at play. With regard to the reported gunplay, numerous neighbors advised that such an event did not occur. That's when the complaint came from Samuel Thomas, who lives across the street. Police communications show that Thomas this year dialed police 647 times, complaining about the neighboring home. He has made allegations about narcotic sales, firearms usage, disorderly conduct, and suspicious activity. And
Have you guys ever accidentally called 911?
Yeah.
Like turning off my phone, something. I hit something one day.
No. So I'll tell you what you did. It's your power button over here.
That's
if
right.
you hit it like
it
3 or 4
doesn't do
times.
911. It does an emergency call, though, right? But
I thought that was calling 911.
Yeah, I thought that calls 911.
I didn't think 911 popped up.
I think it does, Lance, because I accidentally did it.
And I turned it off
and
really
then I
quick.
realized I was calling 911 and I hit it. So they call me back.
Yep, same with me.
And I said, I cannot apologize enough.
Have you
It
ever
was an
called
actual
911?
emergency. Yeah. You mean like I meant to? The only time I can remember calling 911, Lance, was we were driving home, Jennifer and I, from Chattanooga. I don't know where we had been, but we'd come through Chattanooga and we're in that corner of Georgia right there. And there was a car on the side of the road and it had just started burning. Like people were still scrambling away from it. I called 911 immediately and told them,
Yeah.
There's a car on fire.
One time for me coming from Lexington, I used to drive overnight. It was near the Christmas season, leaving outside of Nashville, this side of Nashville, came up on a Jeep Cherokee, it looked like, that had rolled down the interstate. Dad probably fell asleep. Body in the road, presents everywhere, and
presents like wrapped.
Yeah, unwrapped in some places.
That's sad.
Body
man.
in the road, mom out of the car, kids out of the car. Some other cars had stopped and were attending, and I pulled over to offer assistance, and I hit 911 really quick, and they were. Oh, we've already been called.
Yeah,
already been called.
911 operator, what's your emergency?
Yeah,
Is that the way they answer?
Actually 4 times I've had to call 911.
4 times?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That is. That's
including last week.
That's a high amount.
Yeah. But never for anything that,
it's not life-threatening.
Wasn't this guy. Well, yeah, I mean.
Well, last week wasn't, I'm sorry.
Last week wasn't, yeah. I didn't know what to do, though. Thought his bone was sticking out of his leg.
I cringe every time you say it. I haven't even seen the photo and don't want to see it, by the way.
Meet Hassan.
Be one of those in the broadcast we'd say, we're not going to show you a replay.
Yeah, it's as bad. I'll never forget when, who's the running back for in that Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game that went down to the first game of the year last year? And it was on Monday Night Football. And
Marcus Lattimore was that one time.
Yeah, Joe Buck was like, just take our word for it. The replay is as bad as it gets. We're not going to show it to you. And about the time he says it, you hear the whole stadium go, oh!
Because they showed it
on the big screen.
Meet Hassan Rabat. The Detroit, Michigan man was riding in the passenger seat of a rented Lamborghini when he fired celebratory shots into the air as the purple vehicle was en route to a banquet hall for a wedding reception, according to police. Now, Rabat, member of the wedding party, was traveling in a caravan of, quote, multiple sports vehicles that were driving recklessly in the area stemming from the wedding party. Now, the autos were headed earlier this month to the Royalty Manor Banquet Hall. As the 2021 Lamborghini drove along the highway, a witness told cops passenger had a, quote, firearm in his hand, fired shots in the air.
Okay, now, we all know those bullets come down, so you should never do this.
Correct.
But I'd love next time we're around Alexander Shunnarah to bend his ear and some things. My way I would attack this, because I watch a lot of law.
Doesn't look purple, by the way. He looks a little like Anthony Davis.
Okay.
I would go, my defense here is my religion that comes from my culture is we fire celebratory shots after a wedding. Into the air, and I'm just exercising my religious freedoms, and I would try to win the case that way.
I'd be like, in America, we don't do that.
That's right. Guess what? Your religion doesn't allow you to shoot a gun, Mr. Dunaway.
I thought we had religious freedom, Your Honor.
Your freedom stops where the bullet enters my body.
The Mecklenburg County Commission meeting was disrupted by protesters of the Central Piedmont Community College Law Enforcement Training Center on Tuesday night. Now, allegedly,
put that on a sign.
Someone released crickets inside of the chamber. The meeting then had to pause while a member of the cleaning crew came to vacuum them up. Witnesses told Channel 9's Joe Bruno that the crickets were everywhere. The protesters were eventually escorted out. Meeting did resume.
How soft are we? We can't do the meeting with crickets?
I'll tell you, man, my older brother was scared to death. We used to have a thing called a camel cricket, and they were in our house.
Yeah.
The house we had growing up. And I remember my dad one time, because Shane was terrified of camel crickets, but he had one like putting in his face, and Shane had one of those tins. It was a Snickers tin. I'll never forget it. It was kind of the holiday edition of the tin.
Yeah.
And he was just so freaked out, he hit my dad in the face with it, and it split the bridge of his nose because he was dangling that camel cricket. You know what he didn't do again? Dangle a camel cricket.
Yeah. I bet your dad took it in good humor, right?
Those things,
no, not really.
They scared me because they had that brownish look to them.
Yeah,
they
were striped.
I was always afraid they were brown recluses if I came across a camel cricket. Because they could jump really far.
Oh, yeah.
Scary. I don't blame Shane.
Finally, a goal has taken revenge on a man who was installing anti-bird spikes by drinking his coffee and pinching his mug.
Look at that.
Maintenance worker Darren Pardue had been bird-proofing houses when he stopped at a pub for coffee on June 3rd. He said he had been talking to someone before he turned around to find the goal, helped himself to the hot brew. Before he could take action, the bird flew off with the mug.
You think he knew what he was doing?
The bird?
No, that he was installing anti-bird stuff.
I'll show this old guy.
Yeah.
Now, we're calling the coffee heist. Mr. Pardue went on to say, I turned around, sure enough, Seagull's got it in his beak and flew off with it. There you go.
I mean, that is a heck of a revenge right there.
Brown, to your point about O.J. Simpson, back to where we started the show on June 17th, that there'd be video of leaving the scene or going to the scene now. We have a picture that's captured of this bird flying off with a coffee mug.
That's right. We get everything now. Nothing happens that's not on video.
Yeah. All the CCTVs and such. That is Trash Today, in part brought to you by our friends at Champy's. They bring you this part of the show every day, the final hour of the show. Never, ever, ever let a week or 2 weeks go by without swinging by Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's a destination lunch location, especially if you're heading to or from the beach. As we click the calendar to officially summer on Friday, it's just right off the I-65 exit right there. You go by and see Sterling. They got po' boys. They've got the great chicken platters. The chicken's brined overnight, cooked to order, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. The great sides. It's just a great happy hour, friendly location, great atmosphere. Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Hats off to Angel Reese. Take a negative, turn it into a little money. She has trademarked the phrase me-bound.
Oh, yeah.
Was Clay the first to reference that?
I don't know who started the me-bound. She gets a ton of them. And for those that don't know what it is, it's basically the rebound you get off your missed shot, which Barkley just randomly brought up one time, not in relation to Angel Reese, I think on this very show, that Charles brought up, like, man, I can't believe we count those as rebounds. If you miss a layup and get it back, it shouldn't be a rebound.
You shouldn't get a rebound for your missed shot.
That's right.
I forgot who the kid was that had the triple-doubles in the NBA a couple of years ago. It might have been a decade ago, but he purposely missed.
Just to get one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's silly. The me-bound should not count as a rebound.
I agree. Would you say Philip Fulmer is one of the most hated people by the Alabama fan base?
Yes.
I think it's worn off, but in the day, yeah.
I thought you were going to say like SEC history, and I was going to say no, just Alabama. But for Alabama fans, sure.
Yeah, his grandson, J.P. Peace, committed to Tennessee yesterday, a 3-star linebacker class of 2027. So it's Philip Fulmer's grandson.
I thought
he was committed to Tennessee.
I thought Dunaway was about to tell us he had like a stud grandson pass rusher or quarterback, and he wants to go to Alabama.
Oh no,
that would have been a much better story if that were the case.
3-star linebacker, so Alabama not interested, right?
He's 3 stars, man.
Yeah, he goes to 4, right?
Yes, he goes to 4 if he comes to Alabama, but he's still only 3.
Missouri, according to reports, spent $31 million on their NIL for student athletes last year. That surprise you? $31 million
for all sports?
Yeah, all their sports.
You're saying that's higher than you would have thought?
I would think it's higher.
Yeah. I wouldn't think they would spend that kind of money, no.
We just say $7 million was for basketball. That's still basically $25 million for football.
I don't think they got a return on that investment, did they?
Yeah.
Not at $25 million.
I'd love to know what Alabama and Auburn are spending if Missouri spent $31 million on all their athletes.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's about that number, would you?
Nope.
I would hope it's more.
Yeah, well, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is.
That's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow at 9. Pennant Grace at 12:15 coming up. I see Ush back there. Josh getting ready to talk to E.G., who's in Tuscaloosa. Then at 2 o'clock live, always the Meltdown. I'm sure Tyler's going to tell us about some movie he went to see. And then Melton's always got a great show lined up for you. And the Meltdown coming up today at 2 o'clock live on these same platforms. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.